There it is. What's going on, world? Hey, a random note. If you hear from the playback, check the live chat. But I don't know, man. Looking up, I was like, damn. Last time I'm on live stream, I'm up the hill. I be seeing that shit to the left of me. Got the red apartments, but it's the same shit down here too. That's crazy. They got the same. They do the same fucking builds everywhere I go. Anyway, let's recap this game, man. I'm trying to cross the street right now. I brought a little extra soda with me to stay hydrated and whatnot. Shit like that. I probably shouldn't go this way. Goddamn motherfuckers are making a hot. What's they doing? Anyway, let's recap the game, man. Anybody that's seen that game, they would have known that the Pacers, Indiana Pacers, never led the whole game. I'm not picking sides, but if I had to pick a side, I would have picked Indiana over Oklahoma. That's just me. But I will say, it's a little crazy, man, because I guess the whole game, Pacers never had the lead. They were missing the first couple shots, free throws, etc. You know what I mean? They was missing everything. Literally 0.3 seconds left to get up by one, and they could do nothing after that, bro. She was done. She was done. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how that worked. Oh, they up and running. Hold on. Let me cross the street. My bad. We were bouncing around and shit. But no, that shit's fucking crazy, man. I gotta recap this game one here real quick. Hold on. Going on with you, bro. How you doing? I don't even know if they got the little whatever going on. I threw the little thumbnail up. Maybe I shouldn't have did the thumbnail. Maybe I shouldn't have did that. But we'll see who pops in and out. Like I said, I always give it the first 4 minutes. Let things heat up. But no, that was really interesting stuff. Like I didn't look into the stats that much. I just saw SGA had about 30. There was some point where he had about 36 points, I believe. 13 field goals, and like maybe he was 3 out of 4 at the line or some shit like that. I think I don't know if that was his average or if this was like what was going on in that game one of the finals. But I'm over here looking at this like, if he had 13 field goals, he had a couple of threes for sure. But the fact that he got all the way up to let me see, 13, so that'd been 26 at least. Some of them are threes. You know what I mean? So he had a couple of threes then, because he would have had at least 26 at minimum. If we're talking about 13 field goals, that's 26. You know what I'm saying? Yo, hold on. What's up with this dude? You know what I mean? What's up with bruh? I'm the best. What did I do, man? Thank you, Daniel, Mason Rose, and Daniel Ramos. Thank you for dropping in, man. Appreciate it. I'm just recapping the game, man. Let me know if you watched the game. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you watched the game, bruh. That's pretty good. Crazy, man. I didn't really know who to root for. See, the thing is, I'm a little biased because I'm from Seattle, so I'm kind of against the Thunder, but at the same time, the issue is like there's really good players. A lot of good players on that team, and they deserve to win. Like SGA is a good player. Despite what people say about him being like a free throw merchant, Jalen Williams is a good two-way player. They got Alex Caruso. He might get another ring. Who knows? But Indiana Pacers, they've been working hard for a long time, and they always talk about Miles Turner. It's like his 10th year on that team. So Miles Turner, he deserves a ring, man, and he's earning it today. They was earning it on the boards. This dude was hitting threes. He had like 2 threes from different sides of the court. This dude like pump fake, sidestep. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Dude, pump fake and sidestep. Hit the 3. I don't know too many centers doing that. Your little cat right here. What's going on with you, bro? I don't know where you going. My bad. I'll take my time getting up this hill because, let me know if my reception starts getting choppy or gets a little bad. But I appreciate everyone dropping in, man. I'm just trying to recap the game. Just really jump. Was Garfield 2.0? Yeah. Garfield's back on all fours, man. He might have been running towards the lasagna. He smelled that. He's like, hold on, there's something cheesy over here. I know it's over there. Something's in the oven. Trying to get that lasagna over there. But yeah, man. I was so hyped when the Pacers won. Like, I'm not even a Pacers fan like that, but I was like, bruh, they fought hard. Pause, you know what I'm saying? They was in there going in. Like, and they, when I think about the path that they went through, was it, Milwaukee, first round. They have to deal with them. Cleveland, they knocked off the first on the East, which is actually a really good team. And then New York, which is a team that just keeps on, you know what I'm saying? Keeps on fighting. Just keeps on fighting. So that was crazy. Bro's looking for treadmill. Shit, I'm low-key on a treadmill right now going up the hill. I'm on a treadmill hill right here. You know what I'm saying? I've been walking up and down hills all day, man. Tonight's gonna be my last little walk around, post up, get this live in, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to remember if I caught the bus earlier. No, I've been walking all day. Walking up and down. Different braxies. And I'm sore from yesterday still. Pause. I'm working out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm over here recapping Pacers versus Oklahoma City Thunder. For those wondering, you know, I said this before every night that I, you know, keep some stuff, you know, on the TV, don't matter what it is. Kill Tony NBA Finals or whatever else is going on. I'm gonna find something and try to tap in and recap it. Non-truancy hours. Just hours in general. You know what I'm saying? Or you gotta go to bed. All right, bro. Mason, I appreciate you being here, my guy. Appreciate it, man. Hold on, let me see this. See this little rabbit? Just hanging out over here. What's going on, bro? But yeah, trying to walk through this piece, man. Just running. I'm trying to cross the street. You made a little origami military tank. What's going on, Cecilia? Cecilia Prieto. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you dropping in. You made a little origami military tank? Is that what you do on your channel? You do origami? That's actually pretty tight. But yeah, I'm trying to recap the game a little bit. Just thinking to myself, what I just witnessed, man. 4 quarters, no lead. Last 0.3 seconds of the whole game. Literally the last seconds, bro. So we're talking 47 minutes. Excuse me. 48. Yeah, 47 minutes. 59.7 seconds. The whole game. You're telling me they never got the lead. Never. Tyrese just walks up, does a little long mid-range. Boom. Spirals in. Flushes in. There it is. They're up 1. And they're expecting someone to shoot it up towards the, you know what I'm saying, shoot it towards the rim for the alley-oop. Kind of on some, that's what Charles Barkley did back with the Phoenix Suns. I think Phoenix Suns did that against Portland. I could be wrong. Trying to do something like that. Miles Turner with the got that out of there. So we ain't doing that right now. Oh, you don't make videos, you just like origami stuff? Okay, that's cool too though. Yeah, it's cool, man. You're doing cool stuff. Yeah, everything, you know, I say this, I was saying this to somebody, like, everything doesn't have to be filmed and documented necessarily. So I respect that. You know, that's the thing. But did you catch it too? Did you see the game? I was watching that like, it was like half an hour ago. I'm losing track of time. Yeah, it was like half an hour ago. You know, just gonna watch that. But let me know if you're in the cities, man. Let me know if you're down there because I didn't tag it yet. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad. Hold on. There should nobody at my spot. Nope. We good. I'm trying to think, man. First couple quarters was interesting because it was always like leading by about 5 or 10, but realistically they were close. They were always on their tail. Pause. So it's kind of interesting because I think the biggest lead was close to 15. You know, somebody fact check me on that. Somebody make sure I got that right. You know what I mean? But like 10, 15 points or something like that. I don't remember. That was like the most of the, you know, the Pacers led. I mean, not the Pacers. The Thunder led by, excuse me, against the Pacers. Over here, like halfway catching my breath. Walking up over here, man. What's going on, Fuzzy? How you doing, Fuzzy? Hey, man, my hand got the condensation from the can the whole time. Pause, man. What's going on, Fuzzy? Fuzzy, did you watch the game? Let me know if you watched the game, man. She was crazy. I was hyped. I was hyped either way. You gotta understand. I was watching it kind of from a place of non-bias. So like the whole time I'm just here like watching the game. I'm like, And I hope the Pacers win, but the best team made the best team win. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like we don't have a team over here no more because they went to Oklahoma. But at the same time, those players deserve to win as long as they fight for it, which they've been fighting this whole time. So I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as they fight for the win, that team deserves to win. If that makes sense. I also will say the Pacers team, man, they've been fighting through the East. That Pacers team been fighting through the East the whole time. I was rooting for New York. You gotta understand, I was actually rooting for the Knicks because I got a chance to see the Knicks up close, actually at Madison Square Garden last year. So me seeing them in action, I was like, okay, this team's really in. Again, they were going against Detroit, so that's a little different. But even though they were going against the Pistons, it was the Pistons weren't how they are this year. That's a little different. But even though that team was weak, I shouldn't say weaker, but they weren't as good as they are now. It gave me a preview of like, okay, this team just fights back. They make sure nobody, if they take the lead, they make sure nobody wrestles with it. They try to take command of it and to take control of the game. But that's another team that fights back. But I realize all the teams on the Eastern Conference, man, they really be fighting. Like they really just fight through the whole time. You know what I mean? That's like their whole thing. That's like their whole thing. But what's going on with you, Fuzzy? Thank you for dropping in on me, man. So and it's just weird because I was rooting for Minnesota versus New York. That's what I was looking forward to. I was like, I wanted to see Timberwolves versus the Knicks, but I mean, it didn't work out that way. But this is a good matchup. Like we're talking defensively, these guys are stopping each other, stealing each other's rebounds. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like there's there's defensive rebounds that should have been taken, but I was getting upset because the Pacers were kind of just watching the ball the whole time. I was like, what they could do a little better is maybe just move the feet around while they're watching the ball fly up. They see someone else going for it. Like if you know your guy's going for it and he's taking it, man, make sure that no one else is box someone else out that might steal it nearby. Make sure that there's I'm trying to say an adequate space and whatnot. But that was my only critique, even though they won by 1 point. The other thing was Obi Toppin had 2 turnovers, so they could have, in theory, been very well over by 2 to 4 points. You know what I'm saying? In theory, that's in theory, but that's my only criticism, man. Like I guess I'm kind of rooting for the Pacers because they've never had a championship. You know what I'm saying? Dylan M, what's going on? You want to watch, but you have to talk to your girlfriend. All right, man, go talk to your girlfriend, man. Don't worry, don't worry about it. Go do your thing, man. Dylan, what's going on, bro? Dylan, did you watch the game, man? Let me know if you watched the Pacers versus the Thunder, man. I just got done watching that. I'm gonna try to, the whole finals. I'm gonna try to recap it every night or whatever. You know what I mean? Just talk about it a little bit. Speak on it or whatever. Same thing with what's it called? Same thing with Kill Tony's on Mondays or whatnot. You just became a dad. I thought you said you're already a dad. What's going on? I thought you said you were already a dad. You got another kid? Is that what you're saying? I thought you already had a kid, man. Wait, hold on. Break this down for me. I remember it was you or somebody else telling me that they had to go take care of their baby one of the nights. Everybody's becoming dads right now, man. That's another thing. The dad era, bro. It's about to be Father's Day too, bro. And like, well, 1 more week. I just ordered my dad some shoes, man. Oh, 2 baby. I see what you're saying. So it's your second baby? Congratulations, man. I was a little confused at first. I was like, wait, what? I could have swore it was you. There's another person that shows up named Dylan in my chat, but that's a kid actually, which is kind of funny. So I was like, I know the other Dylan. It's not him. I know it ain't him. So I was just making sure, man. But congrats, man. How many months out, bro? How many more months out? I'm happy to hear that, bro. And Dylan, did you watch the game though? Let me know if you watched the game. I know you're probably dealing with dad stuff right now, but let me know, man. I'm over here recapping that. But I appreciate you dropping in, my guy. That's what's up, man. Second baby. There you go. Second baby, man. Oh, you didn't watch? That's all right though. That's all right, man. Yeah, it was a good game. It's funny because and I was talking to my brother about this. It's like, let's say for example, Indiana Pacers. That's Indianapolis, the city, and then Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, that's Oklahoma City in Oklahoma State. And then everyone talks about how those are like small markets compared to like Miami, New York, Boston, LA. I guess Houston is Houston kind of count. Houston kind of counts, but maybe not. And then Chicago kind of counts, but maybe not. But those are big cities. You know what I'm saying? Those are major cities. Dallas is kind of like major city area because Dallas, Fort Worth, and whatnot. So certain places kind of have, the metropolis around them. Minnesota, Minneapolis, like Twin Cities, that in St. Paul. You know what I'm saying? That's like a big metropolis area, but it's not like New York. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even know about Houston. Like Houston, well, Houston's like a big city, is what I'm trying to say, like a big metropolitan area. So there's like probably areas on the outskirts that are people that live in that outskirts cities consider themselves Houston, if that makes sense. Because like Seattle's like it's small town. It used to be. It's kind of blowing up now, but it's interesting because like we have surrounding places like Renton, Bellevue. People live in Kirkland and shit like that. And then I met a dude in Austin, Texas, and he's oh I'm from because I had a Seahawks hat. He's like, oh I'm from over there too. I said oh he's like yeah what part are you from? And he says something like Kirkland or something. I'm like bro we don't Kirkland ain't no fucking Seattle, but when you're in the county you just think that you're in the same area. So like New York City is different. New York City and LA, those are like the biggest markets. And then I guess you could say the thing about Boston is actually a small city surrounded by more towns, if that makes sense. So there's like Cambridge and all these other places like surrounding it. So the Boston, Massachusetts area is just like very metropolitan. Like there's not too much rural or like things in between, if that makes sense. So a lot of people consider themselves Boston in that area, or the major teams of the sports would be in that area anyway. But anyway, I say all that to say I was talking to my brother about this because I was like, people keep talking about all these small market teams like Oklahoma City or the Indianapolis teams. I don't know how they're going to sell the finals, but I'm like, well, you have international players on those teams. That's one thing, and then two, you also have the fact that like people from these major cities, these bigger, larger cities, when they move out, they're trying to go to places kind of in the Midwest or just where it's like Central Time Zone, Mountain Time Zone. They're trying to move out to areas where it's like it's cheaper. So people will take the wages that they've earned for maybe like 5 or 10 years of work, and then they'll finally move out to like Indianapolis or parts of Indiana. They'll go to Oklahoma City, if not parts of Oklahoma City or Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in Arkansas, you get kind of go down to OKC. You're in Northern Texas, you just go straight up to OKC to go see some games, whatever you want to see, or just hang out in Texas. But that's what people do. So people forget, like with gentrification going on and people moving around, people are just going to go to these smaller cities anyway or the smaller areas. So you know what I'm saying? The smaller teams have more room to improve, though, more cards to play. Yes, the other thing too. Yeah, smaller teams have more room to improve because that's the other thing about it is like when people are confused about see last year, let's say WNBA for example, they had a Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty. Now everyone knows like Seattle Storm is usually there, like and then Las Vegas Aces have been there a lot, so the Aces didn't really show up. But it's like you forget that Minnesota is one of them cheaper places, and it's in a very snowy snowstorm kind of area, so it's a cheap place to live because it's just like well you're not in good weather like Florida and stuff like that. So people are moving there because it's affordable. You know what I'm saying? Oklahoma, that's a place that a lot of people have been migrating towards. Oklahoma City and parts of Arkansas. But I mean, yeah, that no one really wants to fuck with Arkansas, unfortunately. But it's just all in the same area and region, like state-wise. Like they're pretty next. They're real close to each other. The same way when people try to move up to the Northwest, they're in certain pockets, but they're not in the major area, if that makes sense. So it's really interesting. So it's like people forget that those places are populated, and it's people that are making their new homes in these new areas. So a lot of those fan bases are people that like they see the advertisements work for them because they're not necessarily from the area. And like, hey, I want to be part of the community. I want to be at these games and enjoy myself. And that's just how things intermingle. So that's what we're seeing right now. And I hope we see more of it, especially with the NBA teams that are supposedly small market. Only other place in Cali I've been is Oregon the Oregon Dunes. Oh yeah, yeah. Have you been to I'm trying to remember. Do you know what area that is or what part of Oregon that is? What's it called? There's a what's it called? Have you been to Cannon Beach? That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. Is it over there? Like on that side? Cannon Beach is kind of like the coast or whatever. Ooh, there's something sharp over here. Yeah, Cannon Beach is like the Oregon coast. You know what I'm saying? That rat was huge. Damn, that thing was crazy. Around some weird shit. But yeah, if you go on the Oregon coast, you'll see that shit. I don't know if it's over there. That's where it's at. It's on that side, like by the beach. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's the only place. Well, I've been there. I've been to Portland, and then I guess I've been to. I forget. There's like another spot over there. There's these. It's like Beaverton. It's like Beaverton, Cannon Beach, and then pretty much like that side, which is like a day trip from me. You know what I mean? It's like a 3 hour little trip down, another 3 hour trip back up. So, um, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It ain't that actually? How many hours did it take you to drive up there? Did you guys drive or did you guys fly up there? I just thought about that too. But yeah, man, I'm really hyped about this series we got going on, man. Game one, I was like, I said right away, I was like, what's crazy is Indiana's really going to have to take one game in Oklahoma in order for this to really be a series. And then they always say this like it's not a real series until somebody wins on another person's court, and it happened. It happened tonight by 1 point. All it takes is 1 point, man. That's all it takes, bro. There's hella spots, more than I've seen, and I go every year 2 to 3 times. Oh, I see what you're saying. There's hella spots. Yeah, Oregon is kind of like Washington State. So in Washington State, we have this thing where we have the Cascades like right in the middle of the state. It's like Mount Rainier, and I don't know if Mount Baker's on that same kind of you know line of mountains or whatever, or range of mountains, I should say. Excuse me. But a lot of times people talk about driving through the pass. So when you drive through the pass, you get to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington is a lot more drier. They get more heat. I don't even. It's kind of like dry heat, kind of humidity. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it's not like deserty. I wouldn't say deserty, but it's just like dry and like I'm trying to describe it. It's like it's not wasteland, but it's different. It's different. Over here, it's like very lush green and what I'm saying, good air. But then you have a lot of precipitation and like rain and whatnot. So the overcast is a little different. See, the thing is like the sun rises in the east, right? So because the sun rises in the east, the shadow. They always say this rain shadow effect thing. The rain shadow kind of like creates the shade from the mountains. It has to rise over the mountains, so we don't get it right away. We don't get the heat right away, and it doesn't last right away. But it's funny because if you're in Eastern Washington, the sun sets behind the mountains, but then over here the sun sets behind like Mount Olympic Mountain or whatever, Olympic National Park, whatever. You tried a cigar for the first time. What did you think about it? Also, you need like good quality cigars, bro. That's the thing too. Is like you need. So here's the thing about the cigars. If it depends on where you get it. If you're getting it from like an actual cigar shop, because you don't want to go to a place that's selling like if they're selling Swishers, cigarettes. How do I explain it? Swishers, cigarettes, rolling papers. If they're selling everything else plus cigars, then it's probably not a good little thing. You know what I'm saying? Probably not a little good thing to do. That's a little creepy ass van, but like I think they're just picking up. That was weird. Like the van was just driving around, but I think they're picking up. What do you call those? What are these called? Like the Lime bikes or something. Or like the scooter, like the scooters that people use to get up and down the street, like the bikes and the scooters. I think they just went and grabbed one to pick it up because, like, sometimes you can collect them to make money. E-bikes and shit. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. E-bikes and e-scooters and shit. I was like, why did they park first? That was kind of creepy. But then I was like, oh, they probably picked one up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's probably just what happened. But you said birds. Oh, wait, behind me. Oh, my bad. I didn't even see them. But no, it's yes, my guy who put me on the cigars, he was telling me something similar. He was like, if you're going to a so-called cigar shop, and oh, Birds is a scooter. Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. Um, but he was saying that you go in them shops, and if you're buying cigars there, but then they're selling everything else, like they're selling scales, rolling papers, swishers. They're selling all type of different nicotine, cigarette stuff, and all that. And they're not purely selling cigars, and it's not technically a pure cigar shop, and probably not your best place to get stuff because the one I go to, I'm able to talk to the guy for like half an hour, and he's able to break stuff down for me. He's like, "Do you like them darker? Do you want them to burn for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours? How long do you want to sit in it? How strong do you want the cigar?" So I'll sit there and talk with him for a long time, and he's really cool about it. And he's been helping me rack up points, and he gives me sometimes he throws me free shit in the bag, man. He'll be giving me different little humidor packs, to make sure that my stuff is like staying at room temp. So you also got to look at the humidors because I went to this raggedy ass. I went to this raggedy ass it's a smoke shop, so I can't call it a cigar shop because they sold cigars in the back. They had a humidor in the back, which is hilarious. But I went back there and I'm like, it's like, damn, I've been in legit cigar shops. I'm over here in the back, like, why is it fucking warm as hell? And then out of nowhere, like every 5 minutes, like this little thing would start steaming, like a what do you call that shit? The thing that helped the air purifier. It was like an air purifier, but it was hot as shit in the back room. And I was like, bro, this is not some room temperature 69, 72 degrees shit. It feel like 75 up in this bitch. I was like, yeah, these cigarettes, I mean, these cigars are fucked up. A humidifier, there you go. It was like a little very smoky humidifier. It was like 75 in that room. Cigars are supposed to be somewhere between 69 to 72 to my understanding. I could be wrong. Maybe somewhere between 68, 72. I could be wrong. So again, it gets very specific. It's crazy. Anyway, fast forward. I walk out that shop, man. Them cigars were fucking crumbling, man. This shit was hella dry. I'm over here smoking that shit, started blowing up on me. I was like, oh, this thing a goddamn time bomb. I'm over here lighting up a time bomb. This shit blowing up, and it's all burning in the wrong spots because it's all moist and shit. It's hella nasty. Pause, man. So yeah, that's how it is with the cigars, man. But hey, speaking of cigars, I started fucking with them because you guys watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I used the torch. The torch, yeah. So the torch is better because the lighter's like, well, technically they both use like butane oil or whatever, right? But the torch gets you like a more even kind of burn. You know, lighter you have to keep doing all the Lighter's good for like when you have the swishers or you have your it is you roll a blunt, you got the swishers. You kind of like after you're done licking it down, kind of burn it up or whatever. Let that sit for a second, and then you just get the little tip because the swisher burns a little different. Matches and torches, I've been told were the best. I forget the specifics why, but matches and a torch are like the best bet. So you've always seen me with a torch on some of those nights when I'm smoking. You might see me again this Monday. If you're around on Monday night, I'll probably recap Kill Tony, and I'll probably light up another cigar. I got like maybe 4 left on deck, and I gotta visit my homie because he's starting to sell cigars at it. He does tattoos, but he's starting to sell cigars out of his shop. I'm gonna start fucking with him, balls. I'll hop on, pick up cigar too. Hey, oh, that's crazy. Cigar talk, man. Cigar talk Mondays, but it's crazy, man, because I was watching The Last Dance. You watched The Last Dance during the pandemic. Michael Jordan was over here. They're talking about his, when he was getting his rings and his championship runs and his time at the Bulls. And every time he won, this dude had a cigar. I was like, yo, low key, man, I'm trying to get on my cigar game too. Like, I'm not winning in life like MJ. However, sometimes I'm just happy for the good things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm just grateful for, like, I could be having a night like this. I could be having a day like this. I'm just feeling gratitude throughout the day. And when I feel good, I'm like, hey, man, let me light up a cigar, man. Let me just go ahead and relax. Because the other thing about this, like, let's say right now, I'm just chilling. I'm drinking this. My friend gave me this before he left. It was just like a little case of bubbly. So I got a random case of bubbly. I just prop the phone behind the drink. I just prop the phone behind the drink so I can, boom, just have it like this on the bench, which is funny. But there's some days I'm having a good time and I'm like, hey, let me celebrate the good things, man. That's all I can do. Hey, I got this little lighting right here. Hold on. See that light? Am I tripping? Oh, there it is. It might just be my screen, actually. Hold on. Is it? I think it's my screen. No, it's like lighting or something. I ain't tripping. It might be from this light bouncing right here. But shit, man, I got shit on me. What's going on? I'm over here like watching The Last Dance. I'm like, Michael Jordan is celebrating with a cigar every time, man. Michael Jordan's eyes be like yellow and red all the time. He be burnt out of his mind, bro. Michael Jordan be chiefing all the time. Michael Jordan be out here chiefing them joints all the time, bro. Dude be smoking cigars. He might have a blunt at that, back at the house in the Caribbean wherever he's like staying at. He got mansions over there. Cause I've talked to people. There's one dude I worked with, and he was saying something about he went on a cruise, but the cruise went through the Caribbean. So he said, yeah, the cruise going through the Caribbean, and they're pointing out the houses of certain celebrities. So they'd be like, oh, this is whatever Angelina Jolie or whatever the fuck, just some whatever white actress name or whatever. Oh, here's a new person, some whatever person. This is Tom Cruise, whatever the fuck. Oh, that's Michael Jordan's island right there. Oh, this is so they're just pointing out little sections where like there's like islands or certain secluded areas where like celebrities have houses at. So Michael Jordan got a spot somewhere in the Caribbean. I forget where it's at, but it's like there's an area where all these celebrities just buy real estate or they buy like land, because it's cheap, affordable. You can kind of build upwards. So he's out there just chiefing it up. He got a smoked old fashioned in one hand. You know what I'm saying? That's some real shit. I told y'all, man, when I turn 40, I'm gonna start drinking again. So when I turn 30, man, when I turn 30, that's when I said, all right, I'm done drinking. I'm gonna drink again when I'm 40. So I got 10, I got 8 more years from right now. So I'm gonna get that fucking boom. What you call that shit? My favorite. I used to drink smoked old fashioned. I'm gonna get that with a cigar. I'm be living up. I'm be trying to live it like MJ type shit, man. Shout out to Michael Jordan. He's still the goat to me, man. Michael's the GOAT and LeBron is the king. That's just, we're going to separate it like that. Separated, but we're going to recognize greatness nonetheless. Your baby mama's Pacific Islander, man. What island is she from, man? What island is she from? Like, what specific islands, man? You know what I'm saying? I say this all the time when I talk to, it's funny because, like, I'm Filipino, so I don't consider, like, Filipinos Asian, but, like, they're closer to Pacific Islanders, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I don't consider them Pacific Islander because the distance between what was happening in each of those areas is kind of different. I think the only other people that kind of went through what we went through was maybe Guam, like Guahan. So people in Guahan and shit, and like Guam, like those Chamorro people or whatever. Chuk, Chuk. Where's Chuk from? Let me know where that's from, man. Am I reading that correctly? Chuk people. I don't know if I know that one. I know like the other people's like that, but that's what's also weird is like yeah, parts of Vietnam and Thailand and whatnot, Micronesia. Okay, that makes sense. So it's like a lesser known kind of group, I guess. Lesser known to us, I should say, because sometimes, like for example, I've met people here that were Mian and what's the other one? Mian and what's the other one? Cham. So Cham and Mian, but those are people that are like they're unrecognized groups because they don't necessarily belong to a greater nation, if that makes sense. So I respect them for their personal culture, if that makes sense. So I feel the same with Filipinos, where I'm like, because I know our culture is very rich and we went through so much shit. Like we've been at war since fucking 1492, specifically since the 1490s all the way up until now. We've been at war since forever, just trying to fight for like our freedom and just like having our shit, just having our shit. So it's like I don't know no other places over there that's really fighting over like that. Like you know, it's hard to relate that to China, which is kind of in power. You know what I'm saying? Like, and them motherfuckers. But it's like it's weird because I was kind of sidetracking here, kind of sidetracking. I was talking to my dad one day because so I grew up in Seattle. We go to the waterfront and then we go to like Seattle Center, and that's where the Space Needle's at, and I would see all these like tourists from different countries. So sometimes you see tourists from Europe, like, oh, this guy's French, this guy's whatever, oh, this person's German or whatever, fuck, like a European tourist. And then you start seeing like, oh, here's these other tourists. This person's from China. Okay, they're from Hong Kong or whatever. Oh, this person's from Japan. This is a Japanese tourist. This is a Korean tourist. So then like I would see these tourists from different continents. And I remember telling my dad, I was like, man, we should try to if we and I'm like a little kid, so I'm telling my dad we should get some money and try to bring my cousins here so they can be a tourist and see the Seattle Center too. They can see Space Needle too. We can take them to a Sonics game. I don't know. My dad's like, it don't work that way. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, if some of your uncles right now, they've been petitioned to come here back in the 80s and they're still not here yet. I'm hearing this shit like, well, then how come these guys get to come here, but we don't? So it's just like one of those, we're supposed to all be Asian because it's like we're all in the same continent. But like you start seeing the fucking differences there. Like, oh yeah, there's some people that, you start doing the knowledge of the history. You're like, oh yeah, y'all was attacking us and keeping us at bay for the longest and then telling us, oh, you got to petition and sign these little papers just to get here. You know how that shit go. That shit is kind of crazy. So my whole thing was like, man, I'm just going, I'm not even going to sit there and trip on the differences too long. If I'm tripping on the differences for too long, it's like I'm low key hating, and a lot of people are not going to understand when I'm talking that talk. So for that reason, I'd rather just focus on the what makes us, what makes each specific culture beautiful, what makes each specific people's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like what makes us special. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we've been fighting for this long, we're still kind of fighting, but then you see us still happy and being in a good mood. Like Pacquiao's a good he's a good example of that. Pacquiao's one of them people that like this dude grew up in the mountain area where they had grenades and landmines and shit. And then his upgrade was moving to the hood. A lot of fighters go from the hood to like middle class and then they have a better fighting career. But he went from the fucking mountaintop where they had like the little fights and the rebels were fighting and bombing and shooting each other down to the fucking hood of Manila. And this dude ended up doing meth just to curb his hunger, shit like that. And the motherfucker still got a smile on his face and he's just praising God type shit. Like, he's on a different level. So I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, there's a lot of shit to be proud of, but I'm just gonna stick to, you see, I'm trying to say, I ain't trying to be funny, but you know what I mean. Doctors are coming in. I got to. Oh, you got to leave. My bad. My bad. You'll be on Monday though. Same time. I don't know yet, man. It's probably gonna be close to this time. Maybe closer to. Yeah, we'll say around 9. We'll say around 9 o'clock, 9 Pacific. Excuse me. You feel that? Oh, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. But that's how I feel about it. I'm not trying to outcast myself from other people, but let's focus on the turn on. Oh man, I appreciate it, man. I'll be here. Basically, like whenever Kill Tony finishes up, I'm gonna try to get outside, hop on, pause, and then just get on live. Just recap a bit. But if I don't do it that night, I might do it Tuesday morning because I think Tuesday morning is more it's actually more efficient. I think Tuesday morning is a more efficient thing to do. So just stay tuned because I might do it Tuesday morning. All right, we'll be in contact either way. I'll let you know, bro. But I appreciate you dropping in, saying what's up. But that's how I feel about it, man. That's how I feel. But hey, and congrats, man. If you're still there, congrats, my guy. My guy Dylan. If he's still there, man, congrats to him. He's according to him in the chat, he said he got another baby on the way, which is pretty dope. But yeah, man, I'm over here just recapping shit, Pacers and Thunder, man. Pacers versus Thunder right there. That was crazy. Excuse me, Indiana Pacers at the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that was pretty cool, man. That was pretty dope. That was a pretty good game, man. Like I said, I was rooting for the Pacers because it's like I'm kind of hating on the Thunder franchise, but all in all, at the end of the day, man, I'm really just happy that, like, for example, a young two-way player in Jalen Williams, and even like SGA, Lou Dort, like that whole lineup, Chet Holmgren too. I got a chance to see Chet Holmgren play here in Seattle. That was during the summer game, but that was only like one quarter, so I only got a chance to see him like once. But that was before he kind of slipped and rolled his ankle in the little humidity or whatever. Like, because that auditorium was fucking it was humid, bro. It was just like It was crazy. But anyway, I got a chance to see Chet Holmgren in person. Chet Holmgren, Aaron Gordon, all those guys, they were all here for like, I forget what year that was, about 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. That was when LeBron was in town. LeBron James came in town, but there was no ventilation in there, man. There was no ventilation at the Seattle Pacific University. LeBron was in town. Everybody just tried to sneak inside the building. You know what I'm saying? Everybody tried to break in. We had security out there, but it was just so much body heat, and there was no one. There was no professional like mopping. You know, they mopped the floors in between plays. There was no one really to do it. So they had one dude on the ground like with a towel. Other people didn't really want to get down with a towel, but there's one dude trying his hardest, but people were just slipping. But meanwhile, Jason Tatum had his feet planted and he was hitting like 10 threes, bro. He had like 7, 10 threes, bro. It was crazy. I might be exaggerating. He might have had like 5, but still, Jason Tatum was killing it. Jason Tatum was there too. He was in town too. That was crazy. Yeah, I got a chance to see Chet Holmgren in person, so I get to brag about that a little bit or whatever, claim it. I don't know. But it's real interesting, man. It's really interesting because like you know, what was I gonna say? I was, when you're from Seattle, like you're not root. I don't want to. I'm mad that the Thunder have a team and we don't. If that makes sense. And like you can blame Adam, what's his name, David Stern or whatever his name was, because it wasn't Adam Silver's time. It was a different time period. So you can blame Adam or David Stern or whatever his name was, the commissioner at that time period. You know what I'm saying? Because like Kevin Durant is here as a, what do you call this, Supersonic, and then like next year he's a Thunder. You know what I'm saying? So that was like the time frame. That was what ended up happening. But I'm not mad at the team. The team is good. The team is really good. Like you can't get mad at like SGA getting MVP. You can't get mad at Jalen Williams being the two-way player he is. Lou Dort being the player he is. I forgot that he was on Team Canada. I forgot he was there. Um, Even like the bench, Cason Wallace was out there. He was the one that guarded Tyrese when he hit the game winner. So that's a little crazy. It's just like I don't know if that's the matchup we want. I don't know if that's the matchup you need like in a clutch moment. But again, it's like he's over here dribbling to the left, pulls to the right. Maybe it fucked up rotation. It just happened. They just happen to be kind of lined up. I got to double check the little footage. I don't have the footage on me right now, but just seeing that in the last second, literally the last 2-3 seconds of the game, just hits, boom, just rolls in a little midi, and it was almost a buzzer beater. Realistically, it was almost a buzzer shot. It was 0.3 seconds on the clock, man. And then same thing on the other end. Who ends up being there? 10 years in the game, stuck in Indiana. He's seen all the eras, bro. He was there with Lance Stevenson. He was there with Paul George. Bro, who else went through that area, man? There's a lot. Domantas Sabonis was over there. So Miles Turner was over there. Boom, right at the rim. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember him. There was some years where he was just like he was doing okay, and then I think he got injured one year where they kind of needed him. But like, see if I remember correctly, Nate McMillan used to be a coach. See, Nate McMillan used to play for Seattle. Nate McMillan ended up. I think he coached in Portland, and then I think from there he went to Indiana Pacers at some point, and then Atlanta Hawks, and then now he's like an assistant coach on the Lakers or something like that. So Nate McMillan, man, him being a Seattle baller, him being someone that used to pick up people full court, you know what I'm saying, just playing defensively and stuff like that. That's one guy that like I wish the Pacers would have kept him, but look at them now. They got Rick Carlisle, you know what I'm saying? Rick Carlisle, like I didn't even realize he was from the old Celtics kind of, not dynasty, but the Celtics era with Bird and shit like that or whatever, like in that time period or whatever. I forget those years, man. Like was it, I don't know if he was pre-Bird. He might actually be before Bird around the same time. I'm not really remembering, but apparently he was part of the staff too with the Mavericks, which is really interesting. Oh, sorry, fighting back the sneeze right here. So it's just really like I don't even know who the Oklahoma coach is, to be honest. I don't know much about his credentials. I haven't been paying. Again, like I said, being from Seattle, I don't really pay much attention to the Thunder stuff. But you can't deny the talent and the depth of that team. It's a young team with depth, and that's why it's interesting because it's like, bro, this is how it was last time. People talked about Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, Russell Westbrook, and then James Harden as a supposed six man at that time period, and that was a young team with supposed depth. But they ran into the Miami Heat with LeBron James in his prime and his villain arc. You know what I'm saying? That was the villain arc LeBron. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Like you ran into this dude. But it's the same time that Oklahoma team got past the Lakers. So it's like, you see what I'm trying to say? They got past the Lakers, they got past the Spurs. They still had Kawhi over there, and that Oklahoma team that I'm talking about 2012 or something, right? They got past. I believe they got past the Spurs. I could be wrong. And then I forget if Spurs, and I don't know if the Warriors weren't really the Warriors yet.
So we can't say the Warriors. But then later on, obviously OKC would, we know Russ staying there for the longest. OKC with Russ and Steven Adams, they used to battle with Curry and Draymond. That was a crazy era too. But I was wondering today. I was like, man, I don't know. We haven't had like a dynasty in a while. Like we've had these teams that like dominate within the playoffs, and they're kind of scary to run into. Like the Bucks are kind of like that. Like when you run into the Bucks in the playoffs, or the Miami Heat. Miami Heat's kind of trash now because there's no more Jimmy Butler. But we'll see what Bam Adebayo does. If bruh, hold on. If Bam is free, I could be wrong, but if Bam is a free agent, hold on. There's a lot to think about because LeBron James is also a free agent too. LeBron, like they're saying, LeBron might do his farewell tour. He might sign with Cleveland. Just do some like veteran, the most minimum deal, sign with Cleveland, and he's just sitting there maybe doing some 6-man shit unless they need him on the floor to facilitate. But I don't think they really need him out there. They could just have him rotate with like I don't know if Levert is still, who is it that's still out there? It's like Levert or I forget his name. There's Donovan Mitchell obviously, but then I'm trying to think who they would have at the three, because you would have to almost put LeBron at the three. I don't know who their 3-man is. I couldn't even tell you, bro. I mean, they have DeAndre Hunter. That's what I'm saying. You had LeBron James and DeAndre Hunter on your rotation. If he went, I'm just saying if he went to Cleveland, I don't know where he's gonna do his farewell stuff at. He might want to just stay in the Lakers just because, like, you know, he's already living in LA. His family lives in LA. They live in California. Like, I don't know why he would go back to the Midwest. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him having houses in 2 places. I'm pretty sure he can afford it. But we'll see what LeBron does. But that's the other thing. Bam Adebayo, that's one guy that like maybe if he went to that's tough, man, because everyone's saying Giannis might go to the Warriors. Giannis might go to the Warriors, or actually, a lot of people might be moving. I don't know. That's crazy. Giannis goes to the Warriors. Giannis could also go to Dallas, which would be ridiculous. If Giannis went to Dallas, or San Antonio, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be like, yo, don't fuck with the West this much. The West has all the veterans right now, but I've always said the East right now, like in this era of time, the East is kind of like it's a sleeper of teams that really have heart, and they're probably going to keep winning. Like I'm trying to think who. Let's do the quick math, bro. Last year, Boston Celtics won, and that was really easy because they had like the best team assembled. They just had one of the best teams ever assembled. Like that rotation, that bench was deep, but then they had injury stuff, and then also they take clutch moments too lightly sometimes because they want to take their time and pace themselves. And that's the shit that pissed me off because the Celtics are actually deep, man. The Celtics are actually pretty good, really good team. But I don't know why they just be taking shit easy. So it's kind of weird, but we'll see, man. Because people are saying that they might keep Drew Holiday or Drew Holiday might leave, and I'm like, bro, if any team that Drew Holiday goes to, like they get better. They just get so much better defensively. But see, the same thing is like that with Caruso. Alex Caruso on the Bulls. Caruso on the Bulls was making sure that they were damn near playoff contenders, if not playing contenders, because he was working as hard as he could. But it was like the bench and the rotation would fall short. The coaching was stupid. There was bad decisions. There was that one time, bro. There was that one time when dude threw an alley oop off of the backboard, off of the glass, or something like that. And then it was like, what the fuck is his name, bro? The Andre Drummond, and then one other dude went up for the dunk and the alley oop dunk at the same time. I was like, what do you guys? It's just hella uncoordinated. You know what I'm saying? They were just doing like stupid shit. So like, it just makes sense that like Zach LaVine left. Who the fuck else was there, bro? Zach LaVine and God damn it, there was a couple other people, man. I know DeRozan was there for a little bit. I don't know if DeRozan left. So he went to the Kings first, I think. He went to the Kings first, but he was there like later. He showed up kind of later because he was kind of suffering on the Spurs for a minute. Who am I thinking of, bro? I'm losing track of this shit. But hold on, man. I move. I gotta move shit around because I keep feeling sharp shit over here, man. Yeah, what's going on with this, bro? I got some shit going on here. Hold on, man. Hold on, bro. All right, man. I had to check a quick message, but we got after these messages. You know what I'm saying? Should I just hit the would it make more sense for me to hit the green screen with the Pacers in the background type shit, man? It might. It actually might, because even though I'm outside, hold on, watch this, bro. I might do it right here. Oh damn, I'm hitting the wrong button. My bad. Yo, back up, man. Boom, there we go. Pacers in the background, man. That shit looks stupid though. That shit looking hella silly. Yeah, man. Same thing as the thumbnail, you know what I'm saying? But Halliburton hit the and that's the thing is like he doesn't have to be. There's some quarters where he's in control. You know what I'm saying? He's in control. He's playing point guard and facilitating from the top of the key. Some guys kind of just stay in the pocket, stay in the little corner, whatever. And sometimes they rotate, sometimes they move around. But he doesn't need the ball. Like he could just pass it to anyone and they'll make a play. And then as long as you got Siakam and Turner down there, the other thing was Obi Toppin was rotating too to get them rebounds. So when they started waking up on the offensive rebounds, that's when it really started making sense. I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. When they really started waking up down there, they were making sure they were securing rebounds. They're making sure like even see Lou Dort is so good defensively that they almost had to imitate him. There was that one play where like Lou Dort kind of just like he just jumped up and he was just straight up the whole time and his hand was there and he didn't foul anybody. But they had to do the same thing with SGA because SGA was like, all right, I can't get too close. He's gonna hook the arm, or he'll just pull up and go under the arm, which is bad either way. So you got to have your arm straight up. But then they made sure not to push against him. Like they would just watch him fall back, and he would miss his own shots. If you think about it, there was a point where he was at the free throw, like in some of the last minutes of the fourth quarter, right? He's at the free throw, and it says something like 13 out of 27, 13 out of 24 field goals. That means he's missed at least half of his shots. You know what I'm saying? Damn near half of his shots. So it's like, okay, he's probably not really good at his field goals right now for whatever reason. He probably really needs to draw the foul so he can just make them twos, make them ones and the twos. That's the whole. You see what I'm trying to say? So it was kind of interesting. Like I don't want to say he might be the worst free throw merchant in the playoffs so far, but I don't think he's the worst free throw merchant of history. I don't think he's the worst historic free throw merchant. I mean, there was an era where Chris Paul was kind of like that. There was an era where James Harden was kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? But the funny thing about both of them is like I don't know if they necessarily rallied their team to the finals playing in that style. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul was doing a whole lot of like he was doing a little bit of everything in the Phoenix Sun era when they ran into the Bucks. That was a crazy time period. You got to think about that. But he wasn't doing like extra flopping all the time. He wasn't doing extra like foul baiting and things like that all the time. James Harden, that's another player that like that's all he would do is just do step backs and try to draw the foul. But he wasn't like I can't say he got to the finals. I'm trying to think the last time he went to the finals might have been OKC. I think it was OKC, man. He gets close sometimes, and then sometimes like when it starts going to game sixes and game sevens, he just starts mentally collapsing. Like, I got to play with urgency. I just want to be cool. I don't want to play with urgency. I don't want to try that hard. I just want to try. I just want to. He just wants to hoop. Like that's one guy that just wants to hoop. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, bro, you're in the playoffs, bro. Like you're in the playoffs. So I don't know. I fuck with James Harden. I low key almost had 3 of his jerseys. I had the all black Houston Rockets jersey, bro. I still got my New Jersey Nets jersey. I'm looking trying to get shit. What's the other team he was on, bro? I'm looking trying to get a Clippers Harden jersey. I'm trying to get all the Harden jerseys, bro. But he just on some bullshit sometimes, man. That's one of my favorite players, but he on bullshit. So that's what I'm saying. Like SJ is doing some creative shit on top of doing the free throw merchant and foul baiting shit. I gotta give him props still. Like I don't know if he's necessarily MVP caliber. Like we're seeing it now. Like oh yeah, he really just be hooking people's arms and shit. It might really be Joker, but at the same time, we gotta give that man props because he's rallied his team to the first seed. Like the shit that he was doing, taking them fouls, taking them hits. That's supposed to wear and tear you down. You got to think. Joel Embiid was doing that shit in the paint. He was flopping sometimes, but he would take a lot of attacks and a lot of elbows and a lot of bumps in the paint. Joel Embiid takes a lot of damage when he's, especially when he's healthy, but he's doing it in the paint. He's doing it as a center. You know what I'm saying? But he gets injured and he doesn't show up and he doesn't rally his team to first in his conference. So that's why like SJ probably still deserves that like MVP. I still got to give it to him, but you don't have to like the way he plays realistically. But that motherfucker's hooping right now. Like SJ's hooping, but tonight he had like what 36 something points like that. That's just crazy, man. But the Pacers were like evenly distributing their stats or whatever, not on purpose, but that's just how they played. People are getting the right amount of rebounds and assists. It's crazy, bro. Like it was just dope to watch, bro. Like like I'm not even good at basketball, bro. I just love watching that shit. Like I'm a fan of that shit. These motherfuckers really hooping right now. That's the shit we want to see too. Like two teams that know how to play defense on each other. You know what I'm saying? Bro, Siakam, bro, watching him in Toronto and then seeing him now is like crazy. It's like, bro, that right there. Hey, what team did he play for in I'm trying to remember what team he played for in the Olympics. I think he played for Sudan. Was it South Sudan or he just played for regular Sudan? But yo, he's making Sudan proud, bro. Like as a Sudanese or whatever, he's making them proud. And then you know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you something fucking crazy. Earlier today, when I did the live earlier today, I went down to the bench. There's a live called turtle and duck watching because I went down to the little pond down the street. And then there was a bench, right? I looked at the bench. There was 3 stickers. One of them said Sudan, like literally one of them said Sudan. The other one had like that weird fucking bear that has the hat. I don't even know his name, the little bear. And then they had some crocodiles. Oh, this they got like 3 stickers up here, but they had a Sudan sticker. And then Siakam showed up tonight, man. That's bro. He out here, bro. Tell you, man, Pascal Siakam's like really on some Eastern Conference MVP shit. Like he's really what they say he is. That's like Jaylen Brown was like that last year. Jaylen Brown was cooking them, cooking everybody Eastern Conference, and then you saw what he did in the finals, man. He was really showing up. Low key, I need support, and man, that's why I wish I had some income. If I had income, I would have been supported Jaylen Brown and bought his shoes, man. But it's kind of cool because Halliburton put out a shoe too. I saw those pink shoes. I don't know if I really like them, but I almost want to get them just on some collecting shit. But I ain't got money like that right now, so I can't do shit. Like I got no monies. I ain't got shit going on, so I decided I just gonna buy my dad some shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be Father's Day next week. I was like, oh, I need. Damn, I forgot there was something I wanted to get him. I thought about it like earlier in the year. I forgot it was released already. I'm not even gonna spoil what it is because I don't want no fucking I don't know who be watching. I don't know who be coming in and out the live chat, and then they're gonna sit there and tell him what the fuck I did for him. So I ain't gonna sit there and spoil it. But anyway, I got some shoes. You know what I'm saying? But I asked him today. I was like, man, what size shoe you wear? And then the shoe I was getting for whatever reason, they didn't have half sizes for him, so I had to sit there and get like a full size up. But I think it'll fit him. I think it'll be comfortable. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it ain't too floppy for him, man. We'll see. It's funny because like when you get, you know, I don't know if it's like if it works that way. Excuse me, if it works that way with old people and their feet or whatever. But when people start to get older, I don't know if their feet necessarily expand lengthwise, but it does kind of get kind of wider, if that makes sense. So I try to get him something comfortable, like some casual type of shoe, something comfy. You know what I mean? So that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, man. I was really proud, man. Today was a really good day. Basketball. I didn't know what to expect. I was just kind of like, see, the thing is, I'm not a Thunder fan, so the Thunder just feel like the big bad wolf, and I'm like, yo, the Pacers, man, I want y'all to like, be the hero in the story that I'm trying to witness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even from Indiana. I never been there. I've been to Iowa. That was it. I've been to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, kind of close to Indiana, not really, because I was in Cedar Rapids, which is like a town or a city away from Iowa City, where Caitlin Clark played, and that ain't too far from the Indiana Fever, Indianapolis, and all that. So they're all pretty close by, but that's a whole different part of the country, man. The Midwest is a whole different kind of monster. Should be spaced out differently, but it's a whole different type of group of people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really fucking with them places like that. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if there's any place I'd really want to visit. I'd visit Milwaukee. That's about it. That's the only place I give a fuck about to visit over there. I'm trying to really think. I'll probably go to Ohio. I don't know where though. You know what I'm saying? I might go to like Cincinnati or maybe Cleveland, just to say I went there. But a lot of people that are from the Midwest are telling me you don't really need to be there. Because a lot of people who are from there don't really care about going back. You know what I mean? I used to work with a dude from Chicago. Obviously, he's like, I don't got no reason to go to Chicago. If I'm in Chicago, I'm just gonna stay downtown, or I'm just gonna be with my family in the South Side. That's what he said. I'm like, damn, I feel it. Matter of fact, when I think he told me he was going back home one day, and I literally told him, I said, hey, you got to go to a Bulls game, man. The Bulls ain't doing too good, so the tickets got to be cheap. He said, oh, the Bulls, man, they play on the West Side. I don't go over to the West Side. I said, what you mean? He said, it's a whole nother monster over there. It's just crazy over there. I was like, what? It's like that. But every time I talk to someone from the Midwest, they always point out like another city in that same area is always crazier. So people in Chicago would be like, oh yeah, I never go to the West Side. And then you talk to someone from the West Side of Chicago, they'd be like, oh yeah, I never go to Gary. And then people in Gary be like, I ain't fucking with St. Louis, bro. I ain't going over there. Then you go talk to someone in St. Louis, like, I ain't going to Detroit. Detroit be like, yeah, I ain't going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati be like, hey, I ain't going over to fucking Cleveland or something, bro. And Cleveland motherfucker be like, yo, I ain't even going to Milwaukee. They tripping out there, man. Last time I went, boom, boom, boom. It's just always some shit in the Midwest. You always hear some shit. Motherfucker always be telling you like the places they don't fuck with. It's always St. Louis, Chicago is one of them spots. But anyway, I don't know, man. It's pretty dope. Also, I do this thing every year where like, so for example, this year I was still working, so I had the income, but like, the Eagles won. So because the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, my thing is I'm gonna, I always buy the MVP's jersey. So whoever the MVP was, I believe they gave it to, was it Jalen Hurts or Saquon? But either way, I bought both of their jerseys. If I remember correctly, I bought both of their jerseys. And then for NBA last year, I bought Jalen Brown jersey. So I got the Jalen Brown jersey that comes with the finals trophy on the insignia or whatever, a little patch. So this year, man, whoever wins, I gotta buy the jersey. So whoever ends up being the MVP, I gotta pay attention to it. Just watch it. Hopefully it don't sell out, but usually they restock really fast and just buy a little MVP jersey. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working with a minimal income right now, like whatever I'm working with. So we'll see how it goes by the middle of June. Really cool, man. I remember that one year in Curry when I got the Curry jersey. That was really cool. I got the Joker jersey that one year that the Joker won, Jokic. But the thing about that was they ran out of the adult sizes, so I had to get like a kid size and like XL or large or some shit. So I was kind of sad, but I was like, nonetheless, I got a jersey. So as long as I get something that has like the finals trophy on it, and it signifies that there was whatever, because he was MVP. Joker was the MVP, man. Obviously. Um, what the fuck was I gonna say, bro? Whoever ends up winning this year, man, I gotta get that jersey. That's pretty much what it is. That's the tradition. And the thing is, I've been keeping up with it. Like when the Dodgers won, I got a Freddie Freeman's jersey. I gotta keep up with it every year because it's just memorabilia. Just looking back, it's just like, you know, I don't have too many emotional attachments to the teams that are winning necessarily, but I like to see people win and I like to see the storyline play out. Jalen Hurts finally gets his rematch against, Patrick Mahomes, and he wins. I like to see LA Dodgers finally form a team, finally put up some money and form a team like they were. The New York Yankees been doing that since forever. The Yankees have been putting their money up. They've been putting New York money up and putting the Yankees on the map and showing up to the World Series since forever. So the Dodgers are like, yo, it's our turn. We used to do that shit in Brooklyn. We're gonna do it in LA. So the Dodgers start showing up. But that's LA money also. That's like LA money for Otani. That's Japanese money. That's some vet money for the team that they got assembled right now. All type of shit going on. But Cal Raleigh, that's our guy right here. Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh's our guy. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he beats Otani on some home run shit. Because I don't give a damn about them other teams, man. I just know every year I say the Mariners going to the World Series. That's how I feel. Mariners going to the World Series every year. Seahawks going to the Super Bowl every year. That's how I feel every year. I don't care what nobody say. Everybody's like, we got a trash team. I want to be realistic about offense and defense. I don't give a damn. I'm just gonna put that out there in the universe because I want that to happen, and I want to say I was right, even if I'm wrong 20 years in a row. I'm gonna say I'm right that one year when it happens. I'll be wrong until I'm dead type shit. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I'll be wrong, rooting for the wrong team my whole life until I'm dead. I'm cool with that. That's the other thing about it is like you got to think when my grandpa was alive. My grandpa got a chance to before he died. He got a chance to see the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl twice. He got a chance to see the Seahawks go. No, excuse me. He got a chance to see the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl 3 times. My grandpa got a chance to see that before he died. And like he used to love watching baseball, but like he used to love listening to it on the radio. He never got a chance to see the Mariners go to the World Series. He's seen them in the fucking American League Conference Finals or whatever you call that shit. He didn't get, because we lost to the Yankees or whatever. It's like King Griffey and what's my guy, Randy Johnson. So yeah, man, I don't know. Like yeah, it's foul. So it's just crazy. Like sometimes and then for my mom loved the Sonics. My mom loved Detlef Shrimp and Gary Payton. Those were her two players. She loved watching Gary Payton, Detlef Shrimp, and all that shit. I think Detlef Shrimp visited them at the hospital she worked at or whatever. I don't fucking know. Maybe she just liked the way he looked, on some weird shit. I don't like hearing my mom talking about other dude. You know how it goes. Like, man, fuck that. I don't want to hear that shit. But anyway, she liked Detlef Shrimp and Gary Payton. She just knew she identified them too. She had like a Western Conference Finals shirt. It might have been a bootleg shirt for all I know, but it was like a really cool shirt. But she never wanted to give it to me. She never wanted me to have it. But I just, again, another thing, I wish he was still alive to see the Supersonics. If the Supersonics came back to Seattle, I would love for her to be alive for that. But obviously, different circumstances. So for that, like I want to live to see it. My grandpa got a chance to see Seahawks three Super Bowl runs or whatever. The 3 times that we showed up, at least first 3 times in history that's Seahawks have ever showed up to Super Bowl. You got a chance to see historically the Mariners having so many different players from right, even like what's my guy's name? Edgar Martinez days, you know what I'm saying? From Edgar Martinez to Jay Buhner days when he's here, Ichiro. You got a chance to see the whole damn thing, man. You got a chance to see the whole slew of players that came through here. From Robinson Cano to, well, actually, I don't know. Yeah, he's seen Robinson Cano a little bit. And also Felix Hernandez. So we had Felix Hernandez for a while too. He got a chance to see all that. So it's times like this where like I try to tap into sports because, when we get the Supersonics back, because I'm paying attention to the NBA so much, it's nice to know which players decide to draft themselves into the team or like choose to be like, hey, I want to be part of that team. I would like to go back. I don't know if KD would want to come back. That'd be cool if he did. I'd be really happy if he did that because every time he comes here, man, it's such a warm reception, and he's also very nice to us. He's just like, yo, this is where it all started, man. I love being here. Y'all drafted me. I can never give up on the city, and we got to make sure this team comes back. So I think he's working with GP too, to my understanding, Kevin Durant. But he's busy right now. He's still in the league, man. Kevin Durant, he's about to sign. We don't know where Kevin Durant's gonna go, but a lot of people call him a snake. But I'm like, hey, man, he a good dude nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? He's just out here. This is what it looks like. Yo, he's being a professional. He's just conducting himself like business. People forget, man. Like, even though they're athletes and they represent teams that we love, you got to remember that they're still human beings and they still have to conduct themselves from a standpoint of business. So why, I can't even trip what that man's decision in life is going to be. If the man decides to make a choice that's good for him and his mom and his family in the long run, why would I go against that? Why would I be against it at all? So people are always like, oh, Kevin Durant, he joined the enemy. And I'm like, who gives a fuck, bro? Nobody said shit about Dennis Rodman hopping from team to team. You know why? Because Dennis Rodman was on some weird shit. Some motherfuckers, oh yeah, he would be on some goofy shit. And I was like, no, a lot of times those teams were just getting rid of him. Detroit got rid of him, sent him to San Antonio. He was doing good in San Antonio though, but then he went from there to the Bulls. But I think Steve Kerr went with him, right? I think Steve Kerr went there after. I think after the Bulls, Steve Kerr went to San Antonio. Yo, what's up with this shit? Yeah, man, Steve Kerr got 3 rings with the Bulls, the last 3-peat run, and then he got 2 in San Antonio, and then he got 4 on the coaching as a coach for the Warriors. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. That's 9 rings, bro. This dude got 9 rings. I mean, technically, fucking Phil Jackson got the most rings. Phil Jackson got 2 in New York, 2 goddamn it, New York Knicks rings in the '70s. He ends up being coach for the Bulls. He gets 6 over there, so that's 8. And I think he gets 5 with the Lakers. Yo, dude gets 5 rings with the Lakers, bro. So that's 5 plus 6 plus 2. He got like 13 rings. Motherfucker got hella rings, bro. That's ridiculous. That's more than Bill Russell, but Bill Russell got 11 as a player. Bill Russell has 11 rings as a player. That's ridiculous. Respect, man. Rest in peace to Bill Russell, man. That shit crazy. Tell me that shit ain't crazy, man. But yeah. So I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped, man. It's a good ass series. I ain't gonna lie. Can't even trip, man. So it's like any of these guys who end up being vets in the long run or whatever, or even some of these young players, like if in the long run they decide like, oh, Vegas is gonna have a team, I want to go there. Oh, Supersonics gonna have a team, I want to go there. It's gonna be a warm reception either way, nonetheless, right? And when they get to them teams, bro, I just want to pay attention to the league a little more. That's why I started telling myself like, I want to, I can't remember what year it was. I want to say 2017, 2018, because I really was like, what year was this, bro? It was like 2017 or 2018. I was really telling myself like I should probably pay attention to the NBA more because the day we get a team back, someone's going to be joining our team. Because the thing was, when we got the Kraken, Seattle Kraken got a team, they took one player from each team and then added them to the roster, to my understanding. So they started adding people to the roster, one person from each team. Some people I think signed up for it. Some people kind of got drafted from the staff or whatever, or the staff drafted them out or some shit like that. I don't really know or remember. So that ended up happening, and then we ended up making like a playoff run in the second or third year, something like that, which is really cool to me. That was really cool. So then when I'm thinking like I'm pretty sure Seattle does the same thing. I don't really know how this works. Seattle and Vegas, when that happens. Also, when Seattle and Vegas happens, I think they're gonna move Memphis to an Eastern Conference team, which is kind of fair. But then now they really have no chance because the East is about to get crazy. Like I don't even think they had a chance this year. They were in the Western. They were like 8th seed or something, but they had to do the play-in tournament to get to like 7 or 8. I'm trying to remember, who did they play, bro? Who did Memphis play? It was either Houston or the Warriors. It was one or the other. But if they were 7 or 8, matter of fact, if they were 7 or 8, it would have been Oklahoma or who was number 2? I don't remember. No, number 2 was Houston, so that was the Warriors. So the Warriors were actually in rank 7 then, which is crazy to think about. The Warriors were 7, and then they beat the Houston Rockets, bro. The 7th seed beat this 2 seed. That means number 8 was probably the Grizzlies, if I remember correctly. I don't think there was any John Morant though. It was probably just like Desmond Bain, kind of on the rotation with like Aldama and all that. They got a good little team down there. Let's be honest. I'm trying to think, like, because they got Zach Edey and Aldama. And that one dude, I forget his name. There's like one other person I forget. You know, they got Desmond Bain, John Morant, Triple J, bruh. Triple J. That's the guy that should have put on the I ain't lying, man. This is just how I feel. On the Olympics, I get it that they chose Derek White, but my thing is Derek White is a guard. He's like a 2-3 guard, realistically. But if you're gonna put a guard on the team, you should have put Jaylen Brown on the fucking team. Put Jaylen Brown on the fucking Olympics. Or Kyrie. Well, Kyrie was injured, I think. So I don't know if they could have did Kyrie. But put fucking Jaylen Brown on the Olympic team. Nope. They wanted to put some guy that was like a 2 or a 3. I was like, well, damn, if we're doing that, then make it this person. But my thing is like, we're talking Americans. Put Triple J on there, bro. Jaren Jackson Jr., bro. Put him on the fucking Olympic team. That dude be balling. That's one guy right there, man. He really be hooping out there. And they don't give that man his credit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Desmond Bain fan, but Triple J, like, you got to give that man his props. That's one dude that, like, he's going to be in the league for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He plays really good defense and everything, man. On some two-way shit, yeah, some two-way shit. Him, Jalen Williams, you know, shit like that. Them motherfuckers, they really ball. Like, that's some good team players right there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't really know. I guess a lot of people aren't paying attention. But I wish Triple J was on the Olympic team instead of Derek White. No offense to Derek White, but it's crazy because Derek White being in the Olympics, that leveled his whole game up to like a whole nother level. Like he was, this season, Derek White was going in. Actually, Peyton Pritchard on some 6-man shit was really going in though. I don't know if it was the angle of the car. Y'all hit the high beam. What's the dude doing? High beams and everything. I'm like, come on, man. That shit was bright as hell. My eyes just might be light sensitive though. I don't know. But yeah, I got this little bubbly joint up in here. 0 grams added sugars. I don't know how much of that shit is true. You know, sometimes when you have these bubbly carbonated drinks, I don't know what's true. I couldn't really tell you what's true or false. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really feel bloated or anything like drinking it, so I think I'm okay. I make sure everything's caught up. Yeah, make sure it's all good. That's strange. Cake watching. But yeah, man. I was talking to Hollow about that last time. I was like, you know, I'm out there cake watching. It's a lot of cupcakes sometimes, but every now and again you see a fit little, you know, wumpty wumpty spongy, you know, something like that with the bounce. That's on a good day. You know, it's summertime too, so you're gonna see a little more of it. It's kind of funny because I've been telling this to myself a lot, man, a lot more lately. Where like, you know, I like a lot, but I don't need too much. You know what I'm saying? But it can't be nothing. I've been seeing some nothings, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I could try though. I did that though back in like high school. That's different though. When I was in high school, I should say. I don't know. That's a whole different topic, man. So yeah, there's a whole lot of basketball I want to see happen, but I don't know yet. I'm at the 52%. Should I keep it running? I might keep it running, man. It's pretty chill right now. I almost want to walk up the street and see how they're doing up there. You know, everyone's all right. You know, earlier I used to keep getting all these notifications, man. I used to get all these notifications about what's it called? You know, shootings and whatnot. I'm like, God damn, motherfuckers out here getting busy. What's going on? And then as soon as I re-download the app just to check on things, it just goes away. I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. So I don't know what's what. I don't know what's true or not. Is this personal? I ain't seeing shit. Lighting is so fucked up, man. It's also my eyes though. Looking at stuff. I'm just walking back towards the house, man. I might end it there though, realistically. You know. I appreciate everyone that dropped in. Ain't nobody really tapped in with me on some sports shit though, which kind of sucks. But you know, maybe next time I'll hit you with it. Matter of fact, you know, when I walk through spots like this, I might start doing this. Hold on, man. I'm gonna have to just find the symbol in the background. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do that for the background, but right now I'm so blended in with just walking down the street. I'm so blended in with the dark and there's not much like street lighting. You can't really see me, so my bad about that. You can see me right here though. But yeah, that's how it is, man. In person though, this is like perfect. Like it's not even that dark, but it just looks hella dark when I'm walking through here, which is funny. That's just the phone. Here, let me flip this actually. I guess see that looks hella dark, but like it just in real life it's perfect. But yeah, we'll keep it right here. Nah, man, it's really interesting. So we'll see what happens, bro. You know, I'm just over here rambling a bit. You know, it's funny because like earlier today, I was listening to LeBron James and Steve Nash podcast. I'm over here listening to that shit. Like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this pre game one of the finals. You know what I'm saying? We watched that, and it's cool because like, you know, I realized the whole time they're really breaking down everything good that both teams did, especially the Pacers for whatever reason. And I realized because they said they recorded it before the finals was even announced, so they weren't sure who was gonna make it. It was actually like a couple days before OKC won, and a couple days, you know, OKC clearly won the West, and a couple days clearly before the Pacers clearly win the East, if that makes sense. So they're discussing it, and I feel like they were talking about both sides equally. I feel like the master cut of what they recorded was them speaking about both teams equally, right? But then like they ended up just splicing and using the Pacers part after the editing and after the announcement because it was pre-recorded because they got shit to do. So I'm pretty sure like they just took the Pacers part and then they took the OKC part, the Thunder part. That's my assumption at least. Anyway, it's funny because they were just giving praises about everything good that they do. They're talking about Tyrese Halliburton. They were just saying like, oh yeah, Tyrese, like he doesn't even need to score all the time, and the whole team, like they'll, if they don't have an open shot, they'll just pass the ball. So I was like, okay, no open shot, dribble around, still nothing. This person on me, pass the ball, get open, find the next person, keep rotating it, and they would do that every time they're on offense. They make sure everyone gets a piece of the ball or whatever, pause, and you know what I'm saying. If it works that way, it works. If it doesn't, it don't. They're such a good team playing team. OKC is the same way. OKC is the same way, and they have a lot of youth. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. They got a lot of youth on their side, but with the way they broke that stuff down. So anyway, all in all, I say all this to say like it's really interesting because the Pacers. It's really interesting because like the Pacers, man, like, bro, think about it like this, right? How do I explain this? I start going through the comments. I just scroll down, go into the comments to see if people are going to talk about or how they were going to talk about the show. Everyone in the comments is like, you know what? It's crazy. It's like I really enjoy that like LeBron and Steve Nash are having positive things to say about both of these teams and not harsh criticisms or have nothing to do with the business side of stuff or the drama side of stuff or things that are unnecessary. So it was kind of dope. I was like, hold on, man. The more I think about it, every time I've tapped in with the show, they get into nerding out about basketball. And they don't care about the bullshit and the drama and the politics of the game. They don't care about none of that shit. None of that stupid shit. They don't care about it. All they want to talk about is the game and like who is doing good and if like they had good plays, is it good coaching, is it good playmaking, is it good, if this guy's really an MVP, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're really paying attention to like the details of this shit. And positives only. So that's why again, like that's why I started thinking to myself, like, when I'm doing the recaps, right? If I'm doing the recap, whether it's the sports thing, whether it's the comedy shit or whatever, again, these are fields that I enjoy, saying, watching as a fan. I enjoy watching this shit as a fan. What do you call this shit? And I'm just over here enjoying it as a spectator and as someone who's not an expert at this shit. But like, you're never gonna catch me say some negative shit unless like it's a real harsh criticism because someone deserves some shit. So when you see me say something like I'd rather see Triple J instead of Derek White, that's just a personal opinion. Excuse me, but understand it's not no shot at Derek White. It's also more of a shot to like, yo, Derek White's more of a shot to Jaylen Brown. Realistically, putting Derek White on the team, I should say, is more of a shot to Jaylen Brown, which is kind of crazy. Realistically, shit's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? That's how I feel at least. But that's the way I look at this because I'm not that good at the fucking sport. I'm not good at comedy. I don't do either of this shit. I don't do none of those things realistically. I'm gonna speak highly and like also speak from a positive perspective. Like I really enjoy and respect what these motherfuckers do. So that's me recapping this shit. That's my perspective at least when I feel the need to recap this shit. If that makes sense. So I want to make that clear. I want to make that very clear. I'm not gonna be here on no hating shit. You know what I mean? I low key might walk all the way up and then like I'm low-key about to go up there, bro. I'm gonna go chill at these motherfuckers' apartments. Not inside, but like I'll be in their little courtyard talking shit. Let me check the time though. Hold on. Bro, it's not even 10 o'clock. It's about to be 10 like right now. But I'll tell you, man, I'm about to keep my legs moving. I'm gonna go up there. We'll see though. We'll see. Cause I'm getting close. So I don't know, man. I'm getting kind of close. So if I get up there, we'll see how I feel. If anything, I might loop back down. But I feel like I got a lot of energy still. So I want to knock out like a 2 hour joint. But we'll see how I go, man. I'm gonna post up. I feel like more people can really drop in and say what's up to me. That's how I feel at least. But nonetheless, I'm gonna keep talking hoop. I'm gonna keep talking sports because I fuck with that pause. But I'm with that, man. That's how I feel. Yeah, man. Pacers. I think I'm still rooting for the Pacers though. I really think like on some underdog shit, they're the ones that really know how to fight, and they were fighting on the East the whole time. I still think that biased opinion because I prefer more of the Eastern Conference franchises more. That's just me. The teams on the Eastern Conference, like those franchises, I like a little more of them. You know what I'm saying? Like aside from the Supersonics and the Kings, some of my favorite teams are like the Hawks, the Bucks. I like the Nets, especially back when it was New Jersey, and I also liked I kind of like the Magic, but not really. Like it is what it is. But I've always favored the Eastern Conference a little more. You know, that's just me. But even with that being said, we got to be honest about this team where it's like Boston Celtics are probably the most refined team. You know what I mean? And I say that in a way like, all right, think about this, right? If you ever watch boxing, you got dudes like the Klitschko brothers and Dmitry Bivol. They fight a certain way that's like, it's not the flashiest, but it's efficient and it gets the job done. That's what the Boston Celtics do. The closest thing was probably like that dynasty San Antonio Spurs or whatever. That Spurs era where they had like 5 championship wins, but then like 7 or 8 appearances in the finals. It'd be shit like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? It'd be shit like that. That's how I feel, man. The Eastern teams right now, like the Detroit Pistons, they're no slouch, man. New York had to battle through that. Was that 6-7 games? You know what I'm saying? There was some games where like damn near the Pistons should have beat the Knicks. So it's a tough division, like it's a tough conference. You think about the teams that are starting to heat up over there right now, it's getting a little crazy. The Knicks are already like a crazy problem. Celtics are already a crazy problem. Orlando Magic is only getting better. They're like a dark horse team. I've been saying this since last year. I was like, low-key, the next dark horse team is probably going to be Orlando Magic because they've been sitting at the 8th seed for a long time. Banchero showed up. He got back up to 5. They still hover up and down because of injuries, but they're starting to figure it out. They're starting to get that shit together right now. That shit crazy. The fuck? I'm hearing shit. But yeah, it's crazy, man. So the East is gonna be a problem. Gonna be a problem in the long run. Eastern Conference. All those Eastern Conference teams, people always slept on the Pacers. Also, the Bucks were not completely like fully healed from their injuries. They had a lot of injured players. So it's like they just weren't perfect. You know what I'm saying? They weren't perfect, and low key, they didn't have Patrick Beverly. That's what some people were saying. The other thing was also Joel Embiid is on the East. Joel Embiid is one of the most skilled centers that we've ever seen historically. Whether you think he flops or not, Joel Embiid is on the East and he's on the Sixers. And you got to remember Tyrese Maxey is still there. So the Eastern, like a lot of players coming out of the East is still, it's still a problem. Tyler Herro's on Miami Heat. Like there's a lot of really good players on the East. Like the West has most of the veterans, the KDs, the Currys, the LeBrons. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. A lot of veterans on the West. A lot of veteran players. Chris Paul is in San Antonio. You know what I'm saying? Draymond, Klay Thompson, AD, all them guys, they're in the Western Conference. Russell Westbrook's in the Western Conference. It's the old West. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. It's just a lot of the vets, a lot of the veteran players are on the West. But a lot of the skill. See, the thing is, the team that came out on top on the West was Oklahoma, the youngest team. You can argue matchups. I mean, I don't know, man. The best matchup that they had was against Denver. Denver forced 7 games. They took Minnesota to what, 5 games or something like that. Yeah, Minnesota only had like 1 win, which is crazy. But
Now the West is just all veterans right now. So it's like OKC getting past them. It's like really they just use the youth and the fact that they weren't, they're a little less injury prone, they're a little more conditioned. My argument for Indiana is that they're very well conditioned too. They also got James Johnson as a vet. James Johnson is a vet over there on the Indiana Pacers. He don't even have to come off the bench, bro. He be doing trash minutes. He played like at the most 5 minutes worth of trash minutes. He checks in, everybody starts cheering. You know what I'm saying? James Johnson's out there teaching them Muay Thai in the locker room, in the weight room. He's like, I'm gonna teach you some Muay Thai. So they be in the paint throwing elbows. They be on the post throwing elbows. They just, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just training out there, getting the conditioning right. So, they got some combat regimen going on. They're doing different types of conditioning and working out. It's only right that these are the last two teams. You know what I'm saying? So we got to give props where props is due. It don't matter how I feel about the Thunder. The Thunder deserve to be there in that spot, bro. Like that team right there fights hard. I'm over here. I'm like a block away. I'm just walking hella slow. I'm like 1 block away, bro. Gonna see if it's on and popping. If I see my dude across the street, I'm gonna just wave, but I'm gonna stay on this side, right here. But it's crazy, man. That's like, but the East, like you gotta pay attention to the East next year. Trae Young is still in Atlanta. I don't know if Trae Young will stay. If Trae Young moved to Orlando, that'd be crazy though. I'd be fucking scared. Because the Hawks are my team, man. You ask anybody, it's the Supersonics and the Hawks for me. That's my shit. And then I fuck with the Bucks and the Kings. I got all 4 of the pins, man. I got four of the pins for each of them teams. I have to do that. So yeah. Who's there? Like I said, I'm gonna post them in the courtyard. Post them in the courtyard, man. Everybody, yeah, everybody who's like sitting there tripping on oh, that's the other thing I was gonna bring up. I didn't even know why I didn't say this earlier, because this is how you know I didn't bring it up earlier, because I don't follow ESPN or none of that bullshit. Tyrese Halliburton being overrated, that's some bullshit. That's some fucking bullshit, because you gotta think about what he was doing the whole fucking year. What he did the whole year long on the East, bruh. Dude was on the East cooking people. That's one. 2, he was facilitating and getting the whole team involved. Whatever shit that he learned and observed in the Olympics, because he only played about 18 minutes. Dude only played 18 minutes worth of Olympic time, but it was enough for him to just be in practice and within the Olympic Village to see this shit. He's on a gold medal team, and he tried to say that funny shit like, "Oh yeah, when you did nothing on the group project, but you got an A still." It's like, nah, bro, you being there is important as a player. Like, you being in the rotation. Him, Ant-Man, Derek White too. You gotta give props to Derek White. Like I said, everyone who was on that team, they leveled up to a higher degree, very higher degree. I don't even remember. Like OKC is so young. The Thunder, that's why you gotta give the Thunder props too. They're so young that I don't think anyone on that team was on the USA Olympics. You have the Canadians though. You got SGA, Lou Dort. I mean Nembhard, who's playing for Indiana. That's a fucking Olympian right there. There's like 3 fucking Canadian Olympians on the Thunder team, bro. That shit crazy as hell. You gotta give props where it's due. Oh shit! While we here, I gotta show you the '79 jersey then. While we out here, I forgot, motherfuckers, doing that thing tonight. But yeah, I'm over here. I'm at the mural. Hold on, let me show you while I'm here. I show this all the time, man. Every time I'm here, I'm gonna show you either way. I'm gonna show you either way. But this is why I'll be a little bit salty, but at the same time, I give props where it's due. Man, see that 1979? NBA World Champions, Supersonics, bro. Look it up. 1978, we were in the finals too. We lost to Baltimore Bullets. Baltimore Bullets. They're now known as the Washington Wizards. Or I forgot, Bullets or whatever the fuck. Washington Wizards now. But yeah, man. There it is. And then the last, the time before that would have been was it 96 something? 96 Supersonics versus the Bulls. That was the last time, but I like how they give us props. They didn't even it's funny, they actually showed a picture of the 79 Sonics in the beginning of the fucking playoff broadcast today. But it's kind of cool because I'm like, Yeah, man. Let me sit right here. Hold on, where am I sitting? I need my back to something. That way I can see what's going on behind me. Either way, I'm gonna chill right here. They got the window open, so everybody chilling now. But yeah, man, out here chilling. Like I said, I'm gonna give you a little 2 hours. Why not? Ain't shit bad. I'm tired as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, low key, I can see I think somebody playing 2K right now or some shit, or they're just somebody just watching basketball in general. No, it don't even look like 2K. It look like some college or some high school, whatever. I'm not gonna sit there and film nobody's house, but that shit that look dope, bro. Crazy. But yeah, man. How I feel, bro. Thank you. Oh, you know what's fucked up? I was smoking here last time, bro. Hold on. Let me show you this sign. Damn. It says smoke free community. I'm mad as fuck. My bad. I wish I had known, bro. Yeah, are these chairs? I'm lucky about to sit in this chair. Look like it's not a couch. I thought it was a couch, bro. It's all good, man. Whatever. That's fucked up, man. I was smoking here last time. I wish somebody would have told me to not smoke here. I'm gonna take my shit down the street anyway. I should just take my shit down the street anyway. It don't matter to me. Shoot. I had the cigar, bro. I was blowing like heavy smoke. Talking about cigar smoke and shit. That's how I walk down the street. I can't have that shit around the house myself, so I get it. But if I had known, I wouldn't have done it. That's fucking crazy. I guess I don't know if I'm supposed to stand over there. I guess you're just not supposed to be next to the tree smoking, but that's a whole nother conversation, man. But yeah, that's crazy. Yo, nobody dropped in on the chat, man, but I appreciate it either way. Everyone that dropped in saying hello. Anyone that drops in anyway, anyone that does any click throughs, man, that's love either way, man. I'm over here just chopping it up. I'm happy for the Pacers, man. Pacers won. A win is a win, you know. That's the thing. When you win by one, a win is a win. Same shit happened with the Bucks went through that with the was it the Nets, Brooklyn Nets, and then same thing happened with, you know, what is it the Knicks and the Pistons. Same thing happened. You know what I mean? Same exact thing. So that's how it goes, man. That's how the game goes. If you win by one, it's a win. It's crazy. That's the way it is, man. Twos and threes and free throws. That's why it's kind of crazy because SGA really, like, I started seeing this is like right before the playoffs, and then this is also around one of the playoffs. He really does foul bait, man. He really does all the leaning. Like he does what, like that's why it's kind of scary because Trae Young is probably gonna watch and learn a little bit, and he's probably testing out a few things now. He's probably getting his muscles up a little bit, and he's gonna be muscling through people. I mean, we don't know what the Atlanta Hawks are gonna do because they traded fucking DeAndre Hunter, bro. Of all people, they traded fucking DeAndre Hunter, which pissed me the fuck off. Because imagine that Cleveland acquires DeAndre Hunter and they couldn't even get past the Pacers. That's some bullshit. And I fuck with the Cavaliers, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you guys had DeAndre Hunter and you guys still couldn't do shit. That's crazy. So you got one of the best defensive teams and defensive players. And y'all couldn't even beat the Pacers, man. That's how you know the Pacers really play hard. That's why they deserve to be where they're at. Let's be honest. That's some second round shit. They took them out in the second round. I was like, we ain't dealing with y'all. Bro, the Pacers have constantly went against people that had home court advantage for the first two games. Think about that. They ran into Cleveland and they ran into New York. Those are two teams that had home court advantage twice in a row, 2 rounds in a row. And then they ran to OKC, who also has home court advantage. And they took a game in fucking OKC by 1 point. Give motherfuckers their props, man. All that weird overrated shit is kind of like, bro, he don't deserve to be there. It's like he's showing it now, man. But it's kind of crazy because on the other hand, I don't pay, obviously I'm not on no critic stuff. My brother was bringing this up, so that's why it kind of clicked in my head. But as a player, you can imagine he's hearing that overrated shit like for like a whole week, for a whole month, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong, and he just showed up and just proved everybody wrong, man. I'm trying to think the last time I seen something like that was maybe like when Terrence Crawford beat up Errol Spence. That was like the last time we seen that shit because he went on a press run too. He showed up to like he literally was at certain places a week before the fight, week or two before the fight, and then he shows up again just to reconfirm, like, hey, I'm back here for everyone that betted against me. You know what I'm saying? And Halliburton's a different type of person, but he's doing the same exact thing. He's doing the same exact thing right now. So give that man his props, man. Pascal Siakam is out there cooking too.
on some straight offense shit. Yeah, man. On some 60-40 shit, 60% offense, 40% defense, he's cooking right now. So I got to give them people their props. I can't give you stats and shit. I don't got no numbers in front of me. I don't even look at them. I'm doing the eye test looking at the game, man. Like I said, back to that whole LeBron and Steve Nash conversation, like their podcast, I got nothing but positive things to say too, man. I like shooting, I like playing horse, bro. I play horse and just shoot around and work on my form, but I don't play the game competitively, so I have nothing but the utmost respect. But even with that being said, that's why I have nothing but positive things to say on both ends. You know what I'm saying? Both ends of like both teams, like despite how I feel. Even though I want to see New York Knicks show up in the finals, they couldn't get past the Pacers. So give the Pacers their props, and they're showing it right now. They deserve all the props. No matter what I feel about the Thunder, my guy, you know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers didn't show up tonight. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, no matter what I feel about the Thunder, they show up to the finals though. You know what I'm saying? They show up to the finals. I just got done one of my last lives where I'm walking up and down the street right here. Talked to my homie now, right over there across the street. He was at the workplace. I just said what's up to him. He said the same thing. He's like, man, we knew the Thunder was going to show up, man. We knew they were going to show up in the finals. And he was, we gave him props. And I was like, man, it's hard for me to root for them because I'm from Seattle. But hey, man, that's a good team. That's a good team, man. Coach did what he did too. Give him their props, man. But I'm trying to think more about the depth of that too. I remember there was a part in the game where they said Lou Dort had 5 threes. So he had an easy 15. Think about that. Dude had an easy 15. He had 5 3-pointers. He had 5 3-pointers, man, around the second or third quarter, something like that. He was cooking from the perimeter, my guy. But even with that deficit, they found a way. You got to just keep rallying. You got to keep rallying every quarter. Every quarter, like Obi Toppin had like two turnovers, and then he had one ball that he tried to chase down and smack back inbounds, but he just didn't get there in time. So he had about two turnovers that we can like remember because that first quarter he was fucking up, and I was like, bro, you gotta chill out. That's what I'm thinking. But he showed up and he was hitting threes, bro. He was over there hitting threes. He showed up in the paint. He's playing defense and everything, bro. He was out there. Like you gotta pay attention to the whole scheme of stuff. Like everyone says there's a bum of the game or whatever, but the game was so close, bro. The game was so close. It was like a 1-point kind of game. You gotta really think about that. 1-point kind of game. So it really came down to the wire, bro. You gotta be mindful of that shit. Really cool, man. I'm trying to recap the sports stuff more, recap the comedy stuff more. Like I said, just keep it motivated, man. Staying sharp with content and everything, man. So hopefully, man, if y'all tapped in with the sports stuff, you tapped in with me, just in general, whatever it is, that you tap in with me for, like whatever reason that is, just stay tuned in, man. I'm gonna try to keep doing this stuff as much as possible, man. I was hoping for a little more, you know, it's hard to get that out of people, but a little more interaction from fans from here and there. But I ain't nobody. I'm not on. Like I said, I'm not picking either side. I ain't got the sports hat on right now. I just got the Jimi Hendrix shirt. But I'm over here. I'm a sports person, man. I seen what I seen. I was there for all 4 quarters watching it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's the other dude. So Cason Wallace, that's the dude that came off the bench. I forgot to talk about him a little more. Cason Wallace came off the bench. I didn't like that he was guarding Tyrese for the last shot. The dagger and the 0.3 seconds left. I didn't like that. However, that happens. I gotta double check if like there was a rotation or if he just stayed on his guy. But like I said, I remember Tyrese going left and then just veering right, but he's still in the midi and then he hits it. So I'm like, I don't know, man. But Cason Wallace on him, I don't know if that's a good matchup. But the whole time, the whole game, I will say he was showing out though. He was really in there in all the right spots. Just making sure he cut down from the wing, moving in forward, grabbing, whatever he had to do. You know what I'm saying? He was in there. That's one dude on the bench that I forget about him. And then who am I thinking about on the Pacers, bro? Nesmith, I'm surprised at. I assumed he would have had a few more threes or like a little more production or whatever. But he played his role nonetheless, man. He was out there too, just doing his thing. So I don't know. I can't even trip. Like he was really doing his thing. The other thing was Nesmith. Nembhard was bro. Nembhard was out there, man. And I didn't know he was on the Olympic team for Canada. I didn't know that shit. So it just makes sense, man. But he was battling with SGA. And they had a little friendly shove or whatever, a little banter between each other. Which I thought was funny because I didn't really catch it at first. I was like, people are like, oh, they're just talking shit a little bit. I swear. But yeah, and Nembhard, man, he proved himself against the Knicks, but for whatever reason, whatever he was doing tonight, that worked really well, man. And then obviously Miles Turner was just, I can't say enough about the Pacers, man. I was bringing up something though. I'm bringing up something. I gotta backtrack a little bit because we can talk more. You know, like I said, I ain't got no stats, so I can't give you no specific stuff. But let me think about this, bro. Kevin Durant. I'm trying to think where Kevin Durant would go, because the thing about that is they're saying he might finally go to like Boston, which I think is almost too much firepower. But if he goes to Boston, you're giving up all like who are you giving up for him unless he's just signing with them. But you got to get rid of somebody. So it's like I feel like Sam Hauser, Drew Holiday goes in that deal. They might get rid of because I'm trying to think who their wing would be. They're kind of at the 3 and 4. It would be what's my guy, bro? Al Horford. They almost have to get rid of Al Horford, or Al Horford has to retire. If they get, I'm just saying in theory, if they get Kevin Durant, but any team he goes to, they're adding firepower offensively. You know what I'm saying? Because defensively, he covers a lot of ground. Kevin Durant covers a lot of ground, but he's probably more reliable as a scorer. So any team he goes to is ridiculous. I can't imagine him going to Dallas and teaming up with Kyrie, but I don't blame him if he teams up with Kyrie because there's no Harden there. Does that make sense? The fact that they have no Harden, if he decides to be a Maverick, that'd be fucking ridiculous. Like, bro, the Dallas Mavericks have Anthony. Like, I'm just saying, if they're healthy, they have Anthony Davis, Kyrie, they have Klay Thompson, bro. They got like all those people that were there in the finals last year. I'm forgetting everybody's fucking name, like PJ Washington and shit. They got hella players there, and then Cooper Flag is like the pick that they got. I'm just saying, if Kevin Durant went there somehow, that'd be ridiculous. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if he somehow went there, that'd be ridiculous. I almost think Bam Adebayo should go to the Mavericks. That's one of my favorite players, bro. Bam Adebayo, like before Jimmy Butler got to Miami, I liked Bam when he was playing with D Wade, like the early Bam days. But he's always been such a good, reliable player, and he's always like going to be on the Olympic team because he's such a reliable American center slash power forward. But like he's like a 4-5, you know what I'm saying? But having a rotation like, bro, the front court for the Dallas Mavericks is already crazy. It's already hella deep, bro. Like they already got like Andre, is it Drummond or whatever? They got no, I'm sorry, Gafford. They got Gafford and this whole fucking rotation in the front court, PJ Washington, AD, it's just ridiculous. And then if you added Adebayo, that'd be ridiculous. But then also if you added if you added KD, that's just too much firepower. But like I said, I feel like a lot of those teams like in the West are already stacked. I think a lot of people are gonna start kind of going east and finding little spots. The other thing is like I'm upset because if you think about it, bro, Marcus Smart is fucking suffering over in what team he's on the Wizards, bro. Marcus Smart is playing in the Wizards. So he's over there. And it's funny because Kyle Kuzma just got to the Bucks, but Giannis is probably gonna leave. Giannis is probably gonna go. Yo, Giannis might be a Warrior, man. He might be a Golden State Warrior. That's fucking crazy. If Giannis goes to the Lakers, bro, I'm gonna be hella mad. I'm like, that ain't fair, bro. You got Giannis and Luka. That's not even fair, bro. They shouldn't do that shit. But it's the Lakers, though, man. Lakers will buy people. They'll, bruh, that's too much. KD, I don't know. He can go to any type of team he wants to, bro. At this point, he'll fit in anywhere, really. Also, we got to think about, let's say, for example, we got to take into account. Here's the way I look at it, right? Let's say the Portland Trailblazers, Anthony Simons, that's a good point guard. He's a good point guard. Somehow they fit him into the rotation of their Orlando Magic. That levels them up. But then also you have guys like Scoot Henderson. He's probably having to fulfill a contract like a couple of years or whatever, a year or two. I don't know where he'll go in the long run, so maybe we don't worry about that. I'm trying to think like Lauri Markkanen. That's another dude. Lauri Markkanen, if he leaves the Jazz, I don't know if like he'll, some people mid-contract where there's like a year or two left, they might leave. I don't know these people's numbers. I don't look at that shit. But these are players on trash teams currently. But if they somehow make it to like what I'm trying to say, like if they make it to like a contending team or like another team that's like on the West or the East that's kind of a contender team or has veterans on it, who knows? So like those are names I'm looking out for, like Anthony Simons, Lauri Markkanen. Where will they go? They'll go on teams that might need guards, might need extra wings, might need an extra power forward just up in the corner, just like posting up. Like, when you have two bodies kind of like hovering around the paint, just ready to get rebounds and also just get dunks on people and shit. Shit like that, man. People facilitating from the front court. You see what I'm trying to say? Lauri Markkanen can do a little bit. I mean, that's why it's crazy because Luka's pretty much there to replace LeBron if he's ready to do a farewell tour. I don't know if LeBron's gonna stay in LA, bro. I don't think LeBron should stay over. That's just me. I don't think LeBron should stay in LA. I don't know. I mean, if he does, he's gonna do for family, so I don't blame him. But I don't know. That's the shit I look forward to, bro. Those are the names, bro. Because it's like what Kevin Durant, LeBron James. What moves he gonna make? Giannis, Bam Adebayo, possibly. And then we don't know if who. There was one other person I'm thinking of. Bro, I gotta really think about each team. I gotta really think about this real quick. There's one other player that has like maybe 1 or 2 more years left on their contract. I don't know if they're gonna stay. I'm really trying to go through each team. I don't want to see Marcus Smart in DC anymore. I don't want to see Marcus Smart on the Wizards. That is disrespectful to me. It was one thing that it's one thing that they sent Marcus Smart from Boston to Memphis. That's one thing. But to let that man's career, this is a guy who he was the second guard to ever win Defensive Player of the Year, and then you're letting him suffer on the Wizards. Y'all ain't shit. Like it's just like they rewarded him and then got him out of there. It was like, here, we'll reward you, but we got to get rid of you. That's how it felt. But it's funny because they leveled up with Drew Holiday, and like Drew Holiday's my guy. Like I got his jersey for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But Marcus Smart deserves a ring. He deserves to be on a contending team that shows up in the playoffs at least. So, hey man, they should put Marcus Smart on the Spurs or something like that. Put him on the Spurs, or if they could somehow get him in the rotation of Orlando, that'd be ridiculous. Like a defensive guard over there, someone who's gonna be a bulldog out there. I'm trying to really think about. I mean, if he goes back to Boston, that's all love. You know, that's really a loving thing to do. If they put Marcus Smart back in Boston, that'd be dope too. I'll be okay with that. But they got to get rid of like Sam Hauser or something stupid. Get rid of Sam Hauser and then work on the contracts. Make sure people, you know, saying checks and balances, people get paid correctly or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, the other thing is like when you have these two teams that are like right now in the finals, bro. Each of these teams, bro, they're probably not gonna add anything extra. If they do, they got money and they cheating low key. That's some bullshit. I'd be mad as fuck. Cause I don't know, man. It's always the Lakers pulling some shit like this. It's always Boston doing some shit like this. You know what I mean? It's always them two teams. That's the dynasties. That's the two big old whatever, the most legendary teams. They got the most wins historically. Lakers got the most appearances, but Boston got the most wins. Like 18 right now, 18 banners, bro. 18 banners, 18 rings, whatever, trophies and shit. Fuck was I talking about, bro? Marcus Smart. I'm trying to think where to put Marcus Smart at. Oh, I don't know if Devin Booker's probably gonna stay in Phoenix for like another year or two, but I don't know if he should. But if Giannis leaves the Bucks, man, that's the biggest worry. So that's what we're worrying about here: is Giannis leaving the Bucks. Kevin Durant probably gonna go somewhere. LeBron James, we'll see if he stays in LA, and then what's the other one we just brought up? I don't know if Bam Adebayo is gonna stay. That's another one. Bam, I don't know if he's gonna ride that Miami contract. I don't know what it's looking like. I don't know if he's got a year left or if he's ready to go. Marcus Smart doesn't deserve to be there. I'm really trying to think. You can low key throw Marcus Smart in Philly, but I don't know, man. It's just kind of like it's bittersweet to see him move around this many teams. That's why it's stupid that Dallas Mavericks got the lottery pick for the very first pick because originally I thought about this, right? I was like, well, imagine that the Washington Wizards got the first round lottery pick. Cooper Flag goes to the Capitol. The flag in the Capitol, that already has a nice ring to it. The flag in the Capitol. It should have been that way, but it's not. Cooper Flag in the Capitol, right? And he's playing alongside vets like Chris Middleton and fucking Marcus Smart. And it's just like, oh, it's more marketable to have him around 80 and all this shit. But it's like you're pampering somebody who didn't even win the college finals. You see what I'm trying to say? He didn't win no college university finals. It wasn't like Michael Jordan, leaving fucking North Carolina and he was winning in North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? Like winning chips over there and he goes to like some trash team or like a decent team. Like it wasn't like that. It wasn't even like Hakeem doing that. It wasn't like what's my guy? In Georgetown, Ewing, like Pat Ewing or something. You know what I'm saying? Like Pat Ewing, fucking Hakeem and all them dudes that like in the 80s, like that went to all them spots. You know what I'm saying? That's what's crazy. That's some crazy shit. Because I'm trying to remember between Magic and Larry, I forget forgot who won in like 1979, 80, whatever the fuck. But they all went to different teams as well. They didn't go to but it's funny because they both went to winning teams. They both went to Boston and LA. LA wasn't really winning at that time compared to Boston, really, but which is fucking wild because like Lakers got like 5 finals appearances in the 80s, and then they stacked more chips with Kobe and Shaq. Kobe got 2 more before he got out of there. But he had like Kobe had hella appearances, bro. He had 4 in a row type shit. That shit crazy. Or like 3. No, he had 3 in a row with Stojakovic or something. You know what I'm saying? Man, what's this guy, Gabriel? Bro, I'm gonna take both at the same time. What we talking about? He said big booty Latinas or snow bunnies. Let me get both at the same time. That's how we live, bro. What you mean? I ain't picking one. Sometimes they're damn near the same. Let's be honest. I ain't trying to be funny when I say that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be funny when I say that either. Some of them be, because you got some white passing Latinas that damn near got the big booty too. They damn near a snow bunny. They just a little more spicy. You know how I go. Ain't trying to be funny. Ain't trying to be disrespectful. Shout out to my Latin women, man. But it's crazy, man, because Marcus Smart should not be suffering down in the Wizards. That's the dude. Like I said, he's the second guard ever to get Defensive Player of the Year, and I think Drew Holiday deserved it that year, but they gave it to Marcus Smart. So it's like, all right, you're gonna reward the man, but then you're gonna trade him off the team, which is kind of like, all right, they got rid of Ime Udoka. This guy retracted his message. Hey, Gabriel retracted his message, but he said big booty Latinas are snow bunnies. That's what he said. I'm gonna put him on blast. Why you say that goofy shit if you're not gonna be about it and put it up there, man? Keep it up there, man. Be about what you're saying. Because I said I'm picking both. I'm cool with both, but yeah. Hey, matter of fact, if I gotta lean towards one, I'm gonna pick Latinas, obviously, man. I'm saying I gotta pick the brown women, obviously. But it's funny because yeah, stick to what you're talking about, man. If you're gonna put that shit in the chat, keep it there. You know what I'm saying? Be real about it. Gabriel, what you want, bro? You on some bullshit? Let me know, man. We talking about sports though, man. We talking about the finals, bro. We talking about the finals of NBA right now. Chop it up with me, bro. You talking? Where you at, bro? What's your team? What's your team? But anyway, yeah, that whole Portland Trailblazers, it's like they're trying to stay afloat. They got a decent team, but they ain't doing shit. Like they ain't winning. You know what I'm saying? They're not even working over there. Houston's pretty good, though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised Houston didn't make it farther. Yo, they didn't make it past the fucking Warriors. That shit crazy as hell. They didn't make it past the Warriors, bro. That's fucking fire, though. The fact that the Warriors were like able to smack the shit out of them, it's almost like prophecy because the Timberwolves were like, let's get the Lakers out of here. Get that shit out of here. Let's get the Warriors out of here. Get them the fuck out of here. But then they ran into like a young team. It's like, yo, we can only slay old vets, but we can't deal with the young teams like us, bro. We gotta, we're on some bullshit right now. I don't know. So I'm hoping the Timberwolves kind of level up a little bit. Yo, I just thought about this, man. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but if Bam Adebayo went to the Timberwolves somehow, I'm cool with that. I'd be cool with that little spot that he'd fill in at the 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no more Cat. Like Cat is over in New York. They did him dirty. They sent him over to New York Knicks. So it's like if Bam Adebayo, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the fucking contracts. If Adebayo left Miami Heat somehow and he just played over there again, Tyler Herro, I think he re-signed because he was dealing with that weird contractual shit to see. I think they're kind of playing chicken with him just to see what he would do. But Tyler Herro, he can go anywhere really too. Yo, I'm fighting back the sneeze right now. My bad. This goofball Gabriel right here over here retracting his message, bro. Go ahead, man. Stay in the chat, man. Talk with me, man. Talk sports or something, man. You over here talking about females you probably never talked to, man. Go ahead, just talk in the chat, man. Talk sports. We ain't even on that bullshit. Just talk sports, man. Like I don't know why you gotta do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's really interesting. There's a lot of players that can move around different spots right now. It's crazy because Dame left Portland, which is they've leveled up so much since he left. But obviously they had trading pieces. They probably got like picks and whatever rotational stuff in the meantime. The other thing about it was y'all that playing games? What they doing, man? They doing weird shit. I don't know if they're really doing it. Motherfuckers out here making noises. Anyway, we're talking about Dame. Dame's probably just gonna suffer in Milwaukee for the longest. Oh, they really hitting each other with the hammers. That's crazy as hell. They got the blow up hammers hitting each other. That's just funny as hell. That's funny. That's funny as hell. But no, that's cool though. So I will say, Dame is suffering, man. Dame is gonna suffer the longest in Milwaukee. And I don't see them winning. If not Dame. If Giannis actually leaves Milwaukee, bro, it's done. It's done for them. Kyle Kuzma, he's not going. As a matter of fact, everyone made fun of Tatum. Everyone made fun of Tatum because every time he got knocked on the ground, he would just land there for like 5-10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? 5-10 seconds. The other thing was Kyle Kuzma was on the ground. Kyle Kuzma was on the ground for a whole possession, if that makes sense. That's like 24 seconds. You know what I'm saying? My bad. I'm paying attention to everything over here. What was they doing?
Of the gunshots that happened outside of her daycare. Yeah,
What's up? How's it going? Hey, where you guys get the hammers at?
What?
Where you guys get the hammers from?
Oh, it's from Safeway.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought there was like a festival or something.
What?
I thought there was a festival. Yeah. It's an ambulance. Okay, I thought it. Yeah, I had to make sure. Sometimes you get used to knowing the cadence of the sirens, but yeah, I was over here. That's hella funny, bro. I'm over here watching the. I was trying to figure out what the noise was. The kids is playing around with the hammers, but it's kind of fucked up because the mom was like, "You guys playing too much," because the lady got PTSD. I was like, "Oh shit, that's kind of." I'm over here laughing, but I shouldn't be laughing. I don't want to enable that shit. Also, we had a festival at Seattle Center this weekend, but then there was also like hella festivities going on. So I seen them bring out the little blow up hammers. I was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Where's this? Like, where are you guys getting these hammers from?" I low key want to get those again, man. That takes me back, low key. I'm sidetracking right now. My friend had a blow up hammer that had the Spider-Man symbol on it, and I think we got that shit at the Bite of Seattle or some festival. It wasn't Piala Fair. I'm really trying to think back to what this was, bro. This is like hella. I just had a flashback, but I saw the hammer and I was like, damn, I wish I had a blow up hammer. Low key, I'm trying to I don't know. I just like having a little memorabilia stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't seen. Remember when they used to do blow up swords at the fucking the festivals? We used to have a Torchlight and God, I don't remember. That's how you know I haven't been out to those events in a long time. Torchlight and fuck is the name of the other one? Seafair and Torchlight. But they had all these like blow up swords and shit like that. We had these pirates that would come down the street and they would hand kids. Them pirates used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. They would just blast these little cannons, or like it would be the sound of a cannon. Whoop, I'm at 20%. That shit used to scare the shit out of me. But then the pirate would give me like coins or whatever. Fuck, what were we talking about? The Bucks. God damn it, the Bucks. So the Bucks is my second favorite team on the East. My first is the Hawks. The Hawks keep Bro, the Hawks got rid of John Collins. They sent John Collins to the Utah Jazz, of all teams. And like we were in the Eastern Finals, bro. It was bro, my two favorite teams on the East, the Hawks and the Bucks, Eastern Finals, bro. And they had John Collins. He was locking down Embiid. They got past Philly. They got past what's his name? Ben Simmons, when Ben Simmons was doing trash plays in the paint. They got past all this shit. And then the other side was Phoenix Suns and the Clippers. Wait, no. Yeah, Phoenix Suns and the Clippers on the West. Those are the last two teams, you know what I'm saying? They got past those. No, I'm sorry. Phoenix Suns got past the Clippers somehow. Clippers had Kawhi and PG, bro. Crazy. Oh, damn, that's the thing we gotta talk about. These finals is the PG Cup, bro. It's the Paul George Cup. If you think about these finals, it's the Paul George Cup. Because PG left Indiana. That was the first team, right? When you think about it. Paul George left Indiana. Indiana gets all these like picks and pieces and shit from the trade or whatever. Because I forgot where he went the first time. I think he went to OKC. He went to OKC first. He's there for like a year or two. I think he played with Russell Westbrook. They sent him to the Clippers. All the picks that OKC ends up getting, they use that shit to get all these new players, bro. That shit crazy as hell. You can leave it there. You're good.
Yeah.
Cool. OKC gets all these pieces. They start getting people in the draft picks. They get Chet Holmgren. I don't know where they got Lou Dort. I don't know if Lou Dort was like an international player. Wait, where did Lou Dort play? Was he G League? Lou Dort might have been G League, bro. It was either not Casey Wallace. Who the fuck was a rookie? There was hella rookies that were in OKC, but Paul George is the reason for this finals, bro. Like Indiana has been developing this whole time. Don't get me wrong. They've been doing a lot of different trades. They traded Domantas Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton. That's on the Kings. The Kings fucked up. The New York Knicks fucked up because they sent Hartenstein to the Thunder. Who else did they send? Bro, they sent hella different pieces, bro. This has been like mainly Paul George's fault. But when I really think about it, everybody's been getting traded to different cities back and forth. OKC was picking up all these picks, bro. Like first rounds, second rounds, and they were stacking them up the whole time. G League players. Everything from G League players to like college players, Chet Holmgren. It's crazy, man. It's just crazy to think about. Like, but now we're talking about something else before this. The Hawks have been fucking up the longest, man. The Hawks got rid of John Collins sent him to Utah. He's suffering in Utah. Fucking Marcus Smart is suffering in DC. All these good players are suffering in the wrong places, man. And it's like they got to get people right on the right team. Oh, I gotta see this.
I'm not using it.
That's funny. They playing baseball here, man. I gotta see this home run.
Mom, I know. I know.
Well, there you go. That's cool, man. They're running the bases. That made me think today, man. The Mariners. I was sitting there listening to somebody's play-by-play. I forgot his name. There's two channels. One of them was Northwest Fanatics, I think. The other dude was like Jaguar or Jag something. I forget where he's from, but he mainly does football. But he happened to be covering Baltimore's six-game win streak, and they got the six. They had 3 wins in a row against the Mariners, which made me sad as hell, bro. I was like, come on, dog. I wore my Orioles hat because every time I wear the other team's hat, Mariners will usually win, but I don't know my record now. I'm like 6-2 or something like that. I think I'm like 6-2. Last time I wore a hat and then we lost was probably like the San Francisco Giants or something like that, bro. So I'm sad about the Mariners, but I'm kind of happy about the Pacers. Like it's good to see a good game. My bad. Paul George Cup, Paul George Finals. There's another thing I was gonna say. There's another thing I was gonna bring up. Oh, Hawks. I keep forgetting shit. Okay, so the Hawks keep fucking up, bro. Trae Young is like, if anyone needs to leave, it's him. Trae Young's been there since 2018, 19. I don't know how long I've been watching this dude. I've been watching this dude for a long time. If you think about this, man, because him and Luka got drafted around the same time, to my understanding. They're either like a year apart or they're like the same year. Luka ends up in Dallas. Dallas was kind of like, they still had, I don't know if they still had Nowitzki or they had, I forgot who was still there, bro. They didn't have nobody. They didn't have nobody right at the time. It was like a slow build. Matter of fact, they had a young Jalen Brunson. They had Brunson over there. Sent him to New York. That was actually probably better for him. Who was it? Trae Young was in Atlanta. Hold on, Trae Young was in Atlanta, but I don't remember who was there. Yeah. Trae Young was in Atlanta, but Vince Carter, that's who it was. Trae Young and Vince Carter were over there down in the Hawks. That was his vet. But it's funny because Vince is like the opposite of that shit. He was a dunker, but he wasn't dunking in his 20th year or whatever the fuck. That is 20th year, 19th or 20th year, or something.
I'm coming in now.
Goddamn. Yeah. Yo. Are they siblings? Hey, excuse me. They siblings? They siblings, brother and sister? Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. That's funny as hell. Y'all miss being a kid, man. I used to do the same shit. Used to do the same shit as a kid, man. Like I said, I've been saying this in the past streams too, man. I do miss my mom too, because even when I was in my 20s and me and my brother were play fighting and shit, my mom would be like, "Y'all need to stop." We're big as hell, just fucking around and swinging on each paws, you know what I'm saying, just swinging on each other. And my mom used to do the same shit. She's like, "You guys need to calm." My mom would always say this when we used to run around the house. We're in our 20s. My mom's like, "Y'all like Tom and Jerry. You guys just keep running up and down the stairs doing the stupid shit." But it's hella funny. I was gonna say, oh damn, I'm at 10. Hold on, what's my battery at? All right, I'm at 15. I gotta walk, bro. I gotta walk. I can get moving on it. Ugh. Yeah. That's funny as hell, man. No, it's funny because I was thinking about this with how many years ago was this? My mom died. I'm losing track of everything. I'm thinking of basketball still. 2022. So 3 years ago. But pre-pandemic would have been 2020. So 5 years ago. So 5 to 6 years ago. Me and my brother were kind of still messing around, play fighting and shit. Doing the shit. I forget the exact year. And my mom was like, "You guys need to stop. Like, what are you guys doing?" But we would just be sparring and doing little taps or whatever. Sometimes full, but it's just body punches, you know what I mean? We're just doing body shots and shit. I'm about to walk on the side back street. So let me get back here in a second. It's not gonna be any lighting, so just bear with me. But we would just do that shit, and it just made me think of that because the mom was like, "Okay, you guys need to stop." The kids are like, if I'm doing the math right, they're about 8 or 10 years old. The ones that I just saw right there, and they're swinging full power with the blow up hammer. They got the inflatable shit, and they're just going boo, like fully. And it's funny because I'm hearing the sound of it, and it's really just air popping against somebody's chest, like they're swinging at their backs, and it's just like an inflatable hammer. It's just like plastic, bro. But that shit, like the noise was just hella funny to me because we used to do that shit when we would leave Puyallup Fair or like Seattle Center. We used to do the same shit, just swinging at people, swinging at things. They had that same sound. I was like, bro, this takes me back to a childhood memory, dog. This shit funny as hell. But I don't know, man. That was a good little reminiscing right there. I had to ask the mom, I was like, hey, are they siblings? They brother and sister? He's like, yeah. You're funny as hell. Good times, man. That broke me out my little train of thought, man. I was over here trying to talk about how the Hawks organization fucked up. You know, one of the things I thought about was like when I used to be at my old workplace, this one dude I used to work with, I think he's from Georgia or he's from somewhere down south, like Georgia, Arkansas, kind of. Those are kind of far off, but like, no, I had one dude, he's from Arkansas, but the other dude's from Georgia. And this dude was like, man, the Hawks fucked up a long time ago trying to get rid of Nate McMillan. See, Nate McMillan got him all the way to the Eastern Finals, even though they lost to the Bucks or whatever, who ended up being the champs. But they still, they fired him after that year or like the year after, which I think is stupid. But that's just me too. You know what I'm saying? Like Nate McMillan was over there on the Pacers when they had like PG and Miles Turner was still there and shit like that, and they ended up sending him to Atlanta. This, I forget my timeline of shit, but this is all happening around the same time. So I was kind of rooting for both teams because I'm a fan of Nate McMillan as a coach. But it's just fucked up because when I look at the whole timeline of the Hawks, it's like the Atlanta Hawks, which is my team on the East, bro. They got rid of Nate McMillan as a coach, John Collins as a power forward. You know what I'm saying? They got rid of DeAndre Hunter as a fucking as a what is it? What did they run him as, a small forward, power forward? Either way, he was one of the defensive players, one of the best defensive players, like first team type shit. You know what I'm saying? And just all around good two-way player. The Hawks have consistently got rid of people that could have got them where they needed to go, bro. And I don't know if they're acquiring pieces or trying to get the right people around Trey or just whatever. I don't know, but it's not working. It hasn't been working. They're constantly at the 8th seed, 10th seed type shit. They're always in the play-in tournament. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. This shit is just stupid. But it's funny because I think they got 2 wins over Boston this year. So it's like, okay, they beat the Celtics twice, but it's like, okay, that's all. That's your only claim to fame, is beating the Celtics and then getting knocked out of the play-in tournament or something. Like, that shit is stupid as hell, bro. But that should be, I don't know. It's stuff like that that makes me mad in the whole greater scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? The grand scheme of this is like, I don't know, man. Teams is just over here fucking up. The Bucks, though, that's my second favorite team, but on the East at least. And those guys, man, they got to figure that shit out. There's a whole lot of bullshit going on. I'm trying to think, who was the head coach over there? I forgot his name. Head coach on the Bucks. They've been moving people around. At first it was Budenhauser or whatever. Budenhauser, and then they went to, what's the second dude? Oh, Doc Rivers. They put Doc Rivers over there. So I don't know, man. And it's actually no knock to Doc Rivers. He's always in the playoffs. He knows how to get to the playoffs. He just only went to the championship like twice, 3 times maybe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he went like 3 times. No, twice. Twice, because he didn't take the Clippers. He brought the Celtics twice. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, what, 1 of 1 or something? 1 of 2. 1 out of 2. But you got to give Doc Rivers his props too. Like, despite how people feel about him. Actually, let's talk about this too, because Tom Thibodeau, they fired this dude, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm walking down the, bro, they actually showed a stat of all of his playoff wins. He has playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because Missoula is still early, so it's only second year. But, bro, it's like Tom's consistently been there, and like even though the like and making sure those people are well conditioned and whatever, it was actually working because people were consistently showing back up on the court, kind of battered and bruised, but they were still winning and scoring, still playing defense. Like, it wasn't enough to win, obviously, but he did a good ass job. But it's just kind of weird that New York got rid of him. But there was just too many complaints on both sides. But Again, that's what happens. People get emotional and they don't look at the numbers. But shit, I don't look at the numbers either. But I was like, yo, low key, from a, you know, I'm just going based off of like I'm taking the eye test. I'm just looking at the situation. I'm like, Tom Thibodeau did a good ass job in New York. I don't know, man. Tom Thibodeau did a good ass job over there. I don't know. They tripping. But that's what I'm saying. DeAndre Hunter's over in Cleveland. He's stuck over there because Atlanta fucked up. They had a good thing. Hit Dyson Daniels and then the other dude, the French dude, or unless is Daniels the French dude? I don't know. There's a French dude over there. I forgot his name. But the Atlanta Hawks had it for a second, but they got rid of it. Imagine if they had all those front court people and then they kept John Collins. It would have been ridiculous. And then Trae Young could have just been on some like 6 foot tall Larry Bird shit. Where it's like he has a whole bunch of people to kind of just enforce in the paint, like all these fucking bigs around him. Pause. And then like he just has to run around and shoot. It would have been like the Warriors, but even worse. It's like, bro, we got people out here just sitting here with the elbows and snatching rebounds, etc. But man, Atlanta's some bullshit right now. I don't know what's going on with the Hawks organization. I couldn't tell you. Good luck to the Hawks, man. I root for them every year too. Atlanta. I root for the Atlanta Hawks every year. But yeah, man. There it is, man. Battery's done. I'm at less than 10%. Get back up in here, charge up all my devices. You know what I'm saying? And just chill out. Because tomorrow I got a long day ahead of me. We'll see how it goes. I got some appointments, attend some stuff. Chop it up with some people. Might grab a coffee and just hang out. Talk some shit. Maybe I'll get on live too. Charge my phone up, whatever. I gotta meet some new people tomorrow. New therapists and all that, new physicians, whatever you call it. Yeah, things like that, man. All right, man. I know y'all can't see me, but here I am. All right, y'all. Love y'all, and I appreciate y'all, man. Peace. Thank you for tuning in.